Welcome everybody to the midweek mix-up podcast. Yet again, we are back once more with a slapdash panel here this week, but they're all awesome. As always, of course, we will start at the top and go down to the bottom. Firstly, General C, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Hello. Yeah, not too bad. You called upon me, and I'm here to grace the world with my annoying presence. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite with the lads. I've been playing a lot of Hunt Showdown. I've got 2 scripts for Parcel Play wrote, which I'm recording Friday. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and working on my comic as well. So it's pretty much been me.
Nice. Awesome stuff. And next up, Xbox Mick, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Good, man. I have just been playing some Lego Star Wars and some of the new one, and also some Sea of Thieves as usual.
Nice.
But yeah, it's been a busy work week. Just glad to be here.
Awesome stuff. And of course, joining us as well, Big Cloud, how you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Busy guy. What's going on?
Have you been up to much? What you been up to? Managed to play anything this week?
So aside from Platinum and Elden Ring, Platinum Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order again. Love that game, underrated as hell. Can't wait for the sequel.
Nice.
And I got to get back on Horizon, but have not jumped on Horizon yet. But that's what I've been playing wise. So that's what's going on.
Nice. And of course, last but not least, Patcha, what you been up to, brother?
Well, besides being sick all week, been playing some Forza Horizon 5, as you guys probably already saw.
Oh yes.
I had my moment of fame for 10 minutes. I saw Paul AFC ask me, did I beat Don Juan song? Yes, I did, but it took him 5 minutes, so my fame is over. But been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 5. Jumped into some Witcher yesterday. So, yeah.
Nice.
Not that much.
How are you finding The Witcher after jumping into it then?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks good. And also the story behind it, the things that you need to do, it's really amazing. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna play the whole game.
Still waiting on the next gen patch for me to go back to that one, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too long.
No.
I don't think it'll be too
Hopefully.
long. And obviously, everybody, if you haven't already noticed, Pat is no longer using a headset to talk to everybody. He's now the proud owner of a gaming mic and an actual microphone. He's joined the clan of high resolution audio. So yes.
Here's the sad part. So we got sponsored by these guys right here.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I have yet fired up the mic over there, but it's road. But I mean, the same thing.
Is that Shure or?
No, they're called Mono.
Okay.
Mono. Yeah.
So you haven't even had a chance to try it out yet.
Nah, I have not. Not even the new mic. And I was like, hey guys, I'll test it out. I'll do a video. And here I am. I'm not even doing it. I have to take my PC apart and remove some stuff. So.
Nice.
That's gonna be fun today.
Cable management is the worst.
Pretty much. I mean, I tell people this all the time. It's like putting Legos together, building a PC. You can't really screw that up unless you're The Verge. But it's straightforward for that. But when you get to that cable management, whew, that'll test you. Let me tell you, that will test you.
It will.
I hate cable management.
And then losing which cable goes where, and you're like underneath the desk with so many different USB things, and you're like,
or undoing the header, cords to the board, and then you have to go all the way through and go that again, and they're so damn tiny, and it's like, whoever thought about that is dumb. So,
yeah. Please stop.
it's the worst.
Oh dear me. But yeah, obviously today's show we do have a few topics. Thankfully, the week ended up relatively decent in terms of what we can speak about. Of course, throughout the week we had the news, of course, that E3 2022 has officially been cancelled in both digital and physical this year. Of course, we had the news, which we'll be speaking of, about PS Plus and its new tiered system, and of course the updated Unreal official launch the other day, which introduced us to a whole new bag of information, including games that are just announced and games that are now being developed on Unreal Engine. As well as a little bit of a teaser as to how good the engine looks so far, and a kind of taste of what to expect for future games being built on Unreal Engine 5. But one of the better topics, and I want to start with this one because it is a bit of a fun one, specifically for the older, I would say the older gamers in us. the announcement, of course.
Who are you talking about?
The announcement of the return
I ain't that old.
of Monkey Island. Thank God. We've been asking for a long time. We've probably mentioned it countless times on podcasts over the last year, if not longer. And even when they introduced it as a little teaser in the newest expansion for Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life, as a little teaser in there as well, a little hidden gem. We even said I'd love a new Monkey Island, and thankfully, they have got Return of Monkey Island, LucasArts, with it's a Devolver Digital, it is, isn't it?
It's Lucasfilm Games.
Yep.
Yep, and it's Devolver.
Yep. So, yeah, it's, to be honest, it's great
And
to see
more
Lucas
importantly, it's Ron Gilbert as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think is it Toy Box Games, I think, or something like that.
It must be his new studio, Toy Box.
I think it's the one that also did Thimbleweed Park.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So, which is also a great game.
Yeah, most definitely. But of course, I want to start with Mick on this one. Mick, obviously, huge news for big fans of the series. What did you think when you first seen that? Of course, hearing Ron Gilbert is the guy in charge, the creative genius behind the original collection, but also noticing that this one is potentially set either before or removed Curse of Monkey Island from canon. What do you make from that?
Yeah. That's an odd one because I know you and I are big fans of Curse of the Monkey Island, which was technically the third game. And I think a good while ago, Ron Gilbert said he would love to make a Monkey Islands 3 carrying on from 2 in the same sort of style as the original 2 games.
Yes.
This looks like that's what it is, but like you've obviously noticed as well, Murray is in there. The demonic skull Murray is in that trailer, and Murray was out of Curse of Monkey Islands, not out of the original 2. So, for it to say it's sort of disconnected from the after 2, it can't be, can it?
Nope.
It has to. There has to be something there. So it'll be really interesting to see how they go about it. But frankly, I'm just too hyped to care.
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing anyway.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, it's strange seeing the Monkey Island in an updated. It's an updated visual perspective because obviously we haven't had a Monkey Island for that long, so we haven't seen what Monkey Island would look like in a new visual. Yeah. Even though it looks like the original, because it's nice and crisp and sharp images, and it's not like blurry like from 20 years ago.
Yeah, but if you think about it, the first 2 got a remaster on all systems, and the way that they remastered them, it's not far off the remastered versions.
Yeah.
So it's it kind of follows. My hope, I don't think they'll do it, but my hope is that they do it in a classic style as well. So they do an old 16-bit or whatever bit it was on like the Amigas and the all those sort of systems, the old PCs. If they did it like those ones where you could just tap that button and you could flick between. I know they probably won't, but I think that'd be a really nice touch to sort of give it that throwback to the originals.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely awesome.
I don't think it will, but that would be a fantastic thing.
You know what I think they have managed to do though is bring back the original voice actor for Murray, as well as bring back the original voice actor for Guybrush.
Well, I was going to say, if they haven't brought back the voice actor for Murray, whoever's doing it is doing a fantastic job.
Oh god, yeah, because he sounds
identical. Sounds just like him. So yeah, it does not. I've not heard that, but if that's what you're saying, that doesn't surprise me at all. So yeah.
And of course, we a big quick shout out here because I don't know how long he's going to be in chat. But hello, King David. Thank the Lord gracing us in the chat there. Good evening, sir.
Hey.
I hope you're having a good day. But yes, you know what it is. I'm just the fact that it came out after us just essentially begging for it for the last several years, and I've still got the originals. I've still got them on CD. It's probably floating around here somewhere if I can find it. There it is. There's Escape from Monkey Island. That's the 3D one that everyone hates. There we go.
Yeah, I've got that disc up there. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't get it down now.
I've got Curse of somewhere over there as well. But yeah, me. It's just so nice to see some of these ones, and it's obviously Ron Gilbert's really wanted to create that game for such a long time and actually get it back. And he mentioned himself, which is why the little joke on the trailer. I said Ron Gilbert said I wouldn't do another Monkey Island game unless, and then kicks the skull in. The actual end to that was unless I owned the IP. So
yeah,
we can obviously see where this has gone. He's obviously got the
IP.
That
game, the game is like what, 30 years old or something?
Yeah, it's old.
yeah.
Because I've never heard of it before, to be honest.
This one, Escape From, was 2000.
Escape 2000, was 2000. Okay.
That was the latest one. That was the last one they did, which was Escape from Monkey Island, which is the 3D version.
Okay.
The ones before that were, I don't know how many years before that, so maybe
1990, I think.
1990 and 95, maybe.
90.
Yeah.
So good, yeah.
And then I think 2 was 95, maybe.
Yes.
I'm gonna come out and say I've never played a single Monkey Island game, and everyone's probably gonna hate me.
They are literally like £2 on Steam.
Yeah.
So that might give me a good excuse to do a parcel play on it.
Play Cursed Of. Cursed Of is the best one. In my opinion, anyway. I just love Cursed of Monkey Island. I just think, like the jokes and everything through it, and the gimmicks throughout of it, and obviously the introduction of Murray and the story that goes along with Cursed Of. I just enjoy that one better. I don't know about you, Mick, but what's your favourite Monkey Island?
I think they're all. It's difficult to say because I love them all so much. I do love Curse of the Monkey Islands, but I think just purely for nostalgia purposes, I bought an Amiga 1200 just to get Monkey Islands 2. So it's probably Monkey Islands 2, really. But yeah, everything about Monkey Island, Curse of Monkey Islands was just fantastic.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Monkey Islands 4 though. That didn't happen.
Nope.
Move along. Nothing to see.
Nothing to see here.
I only ever played it once, and I literally cannot remember anything else about it. I just know it was terrible.
You do mean that one, don't you? This monstrosity.
Let's have a look. You turn it a bit.
This man pulled out a relic.
Escape from Monkey Island, that's the one.
Yeah,
see, I didn't even remember the name. I've blanked it out of my memory.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
It was basically them trying to do a point-and-click adventure in 3D, and it just didn't look right. It was like...
No. It was that kind of early Tomb Raider-esque 3D graphics.
Yeah.
You know, where everything was sort of polygon triangles.
Yeah. Yeah, please never do that again.
Yeah. No.
I am so glad they went back to the original art style.
Yeah.
Oh God, but then they've got the hearing the music back in this, even in the trailer again, but brought to life. Seeing some of them older kind of skeleton characters, because obviously you'll know which game that's from because that's a specific type of skeleton crew. It isn't because you see a lot of skeleton crews in Monkey Island's games and franchise, but there's only a certain one where they've got like the ghoulish glow around them as well. And obviously, it's awesome to see that they've got that in it straight away, and that's a specific style. But then, yeah, it's just looking forward to seeing more of it, and the fact that it's coming out this year is even better.
God, I hope that doesn't get delayed.
I don't think it will, because it's too far into the year already to announce that it's not coming in. I mean, they've announced it in April that it's coming out in 22. That sounds to me that it's pretty close, and judging by their comments as well, they've had this pretty much guarded secret for a long time, because everyone that's involved in it, including Wrong, has been saying, you know what it is, this has been one of the hardest secrets I've ever had to keep. So I'd imagine it's all.
And how long were they busy with this game? Because
I'd imagine a while now.
Yeah, I'm not sure when Thimbleweed Park came out, but that was their last game.
No, and that's been a few years. I would imagine maybe 5.
I reckon that was 20. Is that 2018?
So there's about 4 years in there, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
it's a 3-year development, possibly.
2017.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah,
March
so at least 3 years.
March 30th, 2017. So, yeah.
Good 3 years on there.
Not to downplay it, but, these sort of point-and-click adventure games, they're not exactly technically, pushing the boundaries. That's not what they're about.
Ooh,
it's all about...
Topic.
Yeah, we're not talking Unreal Engine 5 or anything here with this. This is, it's more about the art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more about the art and the story, and than it is about anything else.
Yeah.
So that's 2017 till present day is a lot of time, I would have said, to build something like this. So yeah, fingers crossed. It's please be out this year. Don't get my hopes up like this and then shatter them with a we're having to delay it till next year. Oh.
Yeah, and even King.
I mean,
David
I'll still
saying,
wait, but
King David saying I played Monkey Island as well back in the day when back when point and click was in, and it's been a long time, to be honest. And if it wasn't for the fact that a lot of these, like Tim Schafer, etc., are porting a lot of their games back onto the Xbox, as we've seen obviously over recent kind of months and even years when they've been bringing them back in, I don't think a lot of people would have played them at all again. So it's awesome to see them bringing them back, to be honest, and they are nice, relaxing games to play. They're not to be taken seriously. They very much point fun at themselves. They always break the fourth wall and start speaking to you directly all the way through the game and have silly jokes. It's absolutely awesome. Jen, you mentioned you hadn't played it, but you're probably going to do a pass or play on it.
Yeah, I will probably do a pass or play on one of them. Whatever one that turns out to be, I don't know yet.
Curse off. To give you the best impression of the franchise, I would say Curse has to be.
Yeah. Well, I could probably do it over the next week. Work on that, maybe. So I'll do that.
You'll understand.
If you need a guide, let me know.
Yeah. So, I mean, the art style looks amazing. I love the look of the art style for this new one. So
yeah, that's what we love about it, because it's always been that type of art style. The thing is obviously we've never seen it so pretty before, like so crisp and so clean. Compared to what we're used to. And to be honest, our memories makes us think that it was that nice in the first place. It wasn't.
Yeah, so I have literally no nostalgia for this series, but you never know. Once I've played one of them, I might end up jumping into all of them.
Oh god, yeah, you will. Yeah, just not the 3D one. Save yourself from that. Pat, are you likely to jump on this new one?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I think I never played like a point and click game. Yeah, I think it was what the one with the fish. Was that Freddy Fish?
Okay, I think I know which
The one you had like back in the days. The point and click game is also like
was that the detective one?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think that was the
I
last.
remember what one you're talking about, and I can't remember the name of it. But yes, there was a fish point and click adventure one on PC. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I had that back in the days. That's like the only point and click game I ever played. So, but this one I never heard of because as soon as I saw the trailer going on social media, I was like, wait, what? Are they adding something to Sea of Thieves or And then start reading something, and I thought, oh, this is a whole new game. So. It's new for me. I have no idea. So, but we might try it.
Oh,
I've not played many point and click games myself. The only one that comes to mind for me is RuneScape.
I just
Okay.
shout out to Shambalon here. He's got one of the best things. Yeah, there's a reference here to Monkey Island that says, "I listened to Jen's review and all I got was this lousy T-shirt."
I'm gonna make that now. That's right. And you said it, Sean. I'm stealing that idea.
Do it. I saw a good one on one of the. It was my mate Chris sent me, and it was somebody posted. Well, at least the one thing I've learned is to never pay more than $20 for a game, which is another thing that's at the end of Monkey Island's one. Just the sign of the times about how games used to be $20. Like,
oh God, don't remind us. Oh dear God. But shout out quickly to Boxenberger, of course. He couldn't be here this evening just due to work commitments. He just says, €2 there. Have an awesome show, guys. Thanks, Boxy. And have an awesome night as well. Put your feet up, relax after your work or whenever you finish end up getting your work done this evening. I hope you enjoy the show. Listen to us whilst you work. But yes, Big Cloud, have you ever played any of the Monkey Islands before? Is that something that you're likely to get into, or is it something that's going to pass you by? Or whether or not you
it's definitely going to pass me by. The point and clicks.
Point and clicks are not for you, despite the humor, even though it's very much adult orientated.
I mean, personally, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna skip those.
that's fair
I think
enough.
the limit I would go in terms of like the whole point and click walking S game would be like a Telltale. To be honest,
That's fair enough.
that's kind of style I think I've settled on in terms of like the lowest I go.
Yeah, so a little bit more of a much more interactive version of a point and click. Because obviously in Telltale
absolutely.
games, you actually, for instance, Walking Dead, the more famous Telltale game, obviously you've got the ability still to point and shoot at things in certain scenes and be a bit more interactive and things like that.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
That's what I would definitely go for.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. But obviously we don't know much more about the game as it stands. We've just got that little brief trailer that we've seen so far, but of course it is scheduled out in 2022. We don't know what part of 22 yet. Hopefully it's soon. Hopefully it's like whenever E3 was meant to be. Is when it comes out, just a shadow drop at some point, but they're obviously confident in it to be able to say it's coming out in 22 in the middle of 2022. So yes, fingers crossed.
I wonder if they'll do something similar to how they did, because of the time difference between when the first Psychonauts came out and the second one. I wonder if they'll do like a recap sort of thing.
I think at the beginning of the game, because the good thing about Monkey Islands is at the beginning of Monkey Island, it usually gives you a recap of what happened in the previous one, like a little one.
Oh yeah.
Because it did, at least it did in Curse of Monkey Island. I'm sure it did a recap of it then as well.
did it?
I'm sure it did. There is a little trailer.
Oh, there is a bit where he sat inside that bumper car in the water.
Yes.
Floating along, and he's like, "I've been out 6 days at sea with no food, and there's a chicken on a barrel goes past, and no drink, and then there's barrels of rum that go floating past while he's busy writing his note." That's the humour,
Yeah.
It's literally saying about things he's had to go without, and they're literally going past him as he's saying it. He's just not paying any attention.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, there is that.
So maybe they'll do that for this new one as well, just to bring new players up that jump into the franchise now.
Yeah.
It's all up to snuff with the the previous game, so I know what's going on.
You know what it is, and it's going to bring in a whole host of new players into the Monkey Island franchise because it is an old ass franchise. Like, obviously it's
so old they've never made any Funko Pops.
Yeah, we're talking 20. Well, the
Maybe
last
they will.
one was 22 years ago. So
That's what I'm hoping for.
So yeah, so it's awesome. I'm looking forward to getting it back. But speaking of E3 and E3 time, though, of course we got the news that E3 2022 was officially cancelled in all respects, so both digital and physical. Of course, one of the things that we want to do, at least as a podcast, at one point in the future, and fingers crossed this isn't the end of E3 as we know it forever, and maybe it's just this year. But what we wanted to do as a community and as a podcast and everything like that was eventually get to E3 as a group. Wouldn't have been this year, next year, maybe's the year after, you never know. But then meet the rest of the community, and of course, a lot of the things around these shows now is meeting up with a lot of the people that you know but have never met before, like the likes of BitCloud, of course, like the Iron Lords, like the RDXs and everyone in between, and meeting all of the creators that you've spent time getting to know as friends, or even those in the community as well that you get to know, as well as obviously being there for the big announcements and the gaming news and trying to be part of the conferences and things like that. Those are the big things, and of course even ourselves every year, and same for BitCloud, we cover these things on our live streams with our panels and react to whatever we see. So even though we're not there in person, we're trying to involve the community as much as we can and get as many people involved and have fun. So it is sad to see kind of it be cancelled. It's obvious to see, of course, why in certain respects, because they're not really keeping up with the times, should we say. So, and by that I mean the way things are presented. They're obviously still expecting all of these massive companies to pay huge fees to appear at the E3 trade show. But all of these companies can do it themselves for a much lesser cost, or just put on a digital showcase, and it costs next to nothing, if not nothing, out of their own pocket. Obviously, Microsoft have their own theatre, the same theatre that Jeff Keighley uses to do his show, so they don't need to pay nothing. So it's E3 themselves need to find a better way of getting relevant again. But it is a damn shame that it has been cancelled. BitCloud, I want to go to you first. Of course, you've out of all of us, of course, you are the largest of the creators here. You've been covering PlayStation for a very long time yourself, and their events, and obviously PlayStation, one of the first to back out of E3 as an organisation, as an event. How do you see the news of E3 being cancelled and potentially? We don't know whether it'll return or not. What do you make of the news about that, and how can they be more relevant or be relevant and come back?
So as far as the future, I think we're pretty much done at this point, and it's heartbreaking to see that because, all right, so you know how we got the Super Bowl, for the sports fans. We got all these, we got WrestleMania for the wrestling guys, right? We got all these big produced spectacles for these sports. E3 was that for us. Yeah, back in the day, that was literally our year.
Yep, fully agree with that.
Before we had the IGN, before we had the GameSpots, the Game Informers, all that stuff, we had G4, and we had the E3. E3 was the event that literally gave us power. We were able to go to these shows, meet the people who make these amazing games, be part of the experience, be part of the epic reveals, right? And it really felt like, even if you're not a fan of sports, guess what? There's something for you, something great for you that you can tune into. So to see that go and see people go, oh, we don't need E3, is probably the biggest slap in the face yet, because it's like, no, we need E3. our year. That's our show. Now, granted, yeah, I mean, if we'll be realistic, right? We have like PAX East, we have Paris Games Week, we have Gamescom, we got PSX, and if they still do one, we have the State of Plays and whatnot. But the thing is, E3 is what really brought us all together, so to speak. That was the big, that was the show. So to see it just be pretty much relegated to what it is now, it's a shame. And the people to blame is the people in charge, is the main board. They didn't want to add any pizzazz to the show. They want to hold it into the same building, which, by the way, journalists are afraid to go to after they doxed their information last time. You guys remember that big issue?
Yep.
So this is it's stupid, because I'm sitting there going, if you want to really bring E3 back to the world and you want to open it up and make it be seen as what it should be seen, why not legit treat it like WrestleMania? Why not add themes? Why not move it to different venues? Why does it have to be in the same tired venue that you said is falling apart? Okay, if it's falling apart, now it's time to send the assets to someone on the other spot so they can make it even bigger in this territory. And that right there can get more eyes on it, because the word spreads, and this show can bounce back and forth to areas that are known for traffic. Can you guys imagine E3 in New York? E3 in Atlanta, E3 and since like all these places, there's so many places you can push E3 and add so much more to it. But the fact that it's more likely never going to touch that is crazy. And if you also look at the reveals, who would have thought that we would get a hardware reveal, Xbox in this case, at a Game Awards show?
Yeah.
Usually that's for E3. See what I'm saying? And here Sony does a digital event, and many people will say that's the best reveal of all time. Here's the funny thing. That was done via a streamed video package that was edited up.
Yeah. Pre-recorded.
Yeah, pre-recorded show. It's like, nah, that takes away from it. And it sucks, because I look forward to
it is,
E3. I was hoping for it.
The one thing it's the reason it sucks for me is because one of the great things you like to see, and obviously a lot of companies want to see as well, is it's all well and good seeing people's comments on screen when you put your stream out or whatever it is for E3, but it's an entirely different thing when you're sitting in a big open theater with all of your fans and you're unveiling a new game for the first time. Like, if everybody remember when God of War 2018 was unveiled for the first time with the orchestra music and the crowd's reaction.
Let me bring that up. Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand, like, an orchestra for video games, that's big, period, by itself. That amplifies the attention, the excitement, everything. When we got into like, that right there is the pinnacle of E3, just exciting gamers type of thing. You know what I mean? Where everybody's there, they're anxious on what we're going to see. Right? Got this awesome projector on the front, or this big screen in front to make the game look great. And then we go further with this, and it's like, oh my god, like, what are they gonna do? And then here comes the orchestra, and like, okay, what's the song for? God of War reveal. Then you got them playing this heroic theme in Spider-Man's reveal. Then you got them moving to this more hectic, scary reveal for Days Gone. See what I'm saying? There's so much stuff E3 is just known for, like the spectacle of it. It's like, it's tough to see it go. It really is.
It is, like I say, it's for me. It's watching people's reactions and the crowd reactions to things, or the lack of reactions with certain things. Like when things like were announced sometimes, and you'd hear like one person go. It's like seeing them live awkward moments, but then obviously seeing the ultra hype moments where they show something off for the first time. They're like, holy shit, look at that. And that's like God of War had that at E3, and of course, unfortunately, the last time, and this wasn't even at E3, because by that point Microsoft were doing their own thing. But the biggest thing for them was that, as you mentioned, the Game Awards with Series X's reveal and Hellblade, and seeing the live reaction at the Game Awards for Hellblade 2 and the Series X back to back was phenomenal. And you don't get those type of things again. And I think we now are at a stage where, as much as we like or dislike the guy, Jeff Keighley now has the ability right this second, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on whether you like him or not, has the ability right now, with the backing of the industry, because he does, as much as some people don't like it and we don't like him, or I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of people don't like him.
I don't mind him. He's all right.
Yeah, it depends on the day that you get him, but sometimes he's he's a hit or miss. But whether we like it, he's got the ability now with the backing. He has Sony's backing. He has had for a while. He's got the backing of Xbox. He's got the backing of Nintendo. He's got the backing of most of the industry now. He has the ability to get orchestras to create them. He's got the London Philharmonic Orchestra together.
He's also friends with Hans Zimmer, so I mean, it's
exactly. He's got the ability to create something.
Right. He saved, I would say, the assets, right, that made E3 great.
Yeah.
But the thing about E3 that is always synonymous with us is the overall history of it. So I'm saying we have a lot of reveals and memories.
Yeah.
The epic fail / epic moments like the PS3 reveal and that price tag reveal. We got the PS4 reveal, Xbox 360. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a lot of epic moments at E3, and it's like it sucks that we'll probably never get to see that again. You know, we got all these other shows, and it's like nobody wants to protect the main show that was there for us when there wasn't these shows.
Yeah. So
it sucks. And I don't know where that lies. Like, I don't know where the future lies. Like, I don't want these guys on the board to make their way when E3 eventually is announced to be done, right? I don't want to see these guys make their way and swindle their way into being on the board of Paris Games Week, right? Or Gamescom or any of these other events. Because, like, we know what's going to happen to those shows. It's going to be monopolized or monetized heavily. Because that's kind of another thing they kind of killed it, too. You guys remember the passes at E3? Remember how, like, you had, like, pure freedom and it felt like you were getting a lot more for what you were doing?
But even saying that, like, I mean, I think you got in, I got in, so we both had media for last year's E3, like digital media. And what did you get with this?
Nothing. I mean, I get that they didn't want to give. I guess I get why they didn't want to give like free stuff away, because you know how people are quick to put it on eBay, which is another crime by itself. I don't know why people.
But like, even in general, like when I went into the media section, there was nothing.
There was nothing specifically for you. Like, it was like, hey, you got a digital pass, but it just got you the ability to do what pretty much the world's already doing. That's watching somebody else's stream of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like, it's kind of pointless. Now, if they were giving you like exclusive access, like typically the badge does, right? When you have, depending on the tier, if they were giving you access to like interview people who signed up for it, like a meet and greet type of thing, kind of like those little, I forgot the name of it, but you can like, some celebrities do it where they like, you can, it's like a set up a meeting, you can pay to talk to them type of thing. Unless he has something like that, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah. It was a bit mad. And to me, it's just a shame because, again, much like yourself, we haven't been to E3 in person. And one of the main ones we wanted to do to experience it was E3. Like you said, it was our Super Bowl. That was the going there and meeting everybody and go and celebrate games and celebrate these new releases or whatever happens. And it's not getting to experience that. That's the damn shame.
It's the fan interaction. It's the fact that you're around people who are just like you, who love gaming and are passionate just as much as you, right? You're running into these people and talking to them, and that was the coolest part about it. I looked forward to meeting everybody. I was like, yo, okay, PAX East, they want me over here. But I'm like, can I make PAX East? We'll see if I can make PAX East. I don't think I can. But we have E3, and it's like, oh, E3's canceled. I'm like, well, why? You know, it's like, you know, so, you know, it's moments like that. Just, it sucks. It really, really does suck. Just, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it really does.
It's weird to think the last official Xbox event that fans went to was the one me and you went to, Drew.
Yeah, XO19. Yeah, and that was XO19. 3 years ago.
That was the last one that people could go to. It's quite sad to think, really.
I know. XO19 event, 2019, just before the pandemic.
19.
Literally the last event I've been to before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Was XO19, and then the world went to shit, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, dear me. But, I mean, obviously, the only thing and we've still got Gamescom this year, and we'll still have Gamescom next year. As you mentioned, you've still got PAX over in the US as well, PAX East. But as we know, it's the history of E3. It's not just what it was, it's what it stood for originally. And it was obviously originally a trade show. Then they started to bring in more media to do kind of media interviews and things like that, as opposed to just being trade. And then, of course, bringing in the fans. But we know what fan events look like. Gamescom is a big fan event, as well as a media event. And that is monstrous in terms of its attendance. It's hundreds of thousands, millions of people that go to Gamescom.
Yeah, but you notice how we're getting less of these, right?
Yeah.
And it just kind of like everybody has their own side now, and it's
Yes.
like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for it, because usually they do something special when they have like PSX used to do the crazy like interaction. They'll have the the Aloy type of thing, like the setup stuff like that. Days Gone, so that's cool. They usually go all out, but it's like it kind of defeats the purpose of the whole aspect of gaming when it's not a big venue and everybody can just go and just have fun, meet everybody. So
Yeah. I completely agree. Mick, what do you make of the news, and and also what do you think both Jeff Keighley and the rest of the industry will do on the back of the news that E3 is literally not happening in any way, shape or form this year? Because you've got to think, outside of even just the normal platform holders, we know EA is not doing any conference this year at all. They've already said we're just going to do release news as and when games are ready, essentially, this year.
Yeah.
When we've got something to talk about, we'll talk about it. We're not going to do an event. We know Sony will do their own state of plays. Well, obviously, when we find out when that is, that'll happen. Obviously, what we will find out is whatever Jeff's working on will more than likely align with what Sony are doing. And of course, Xbox have their own event at some point this year. It won't be called the E3 briefing for a change. It'll be Xbox and Bethesda and potentially something else showcase this year. So it's the second ever, or at least it will be this year, the second ever Xbox Bethesda showcase. This time they'll probably have a little bit more to show from each side. What do you think they've all got to do? Do you think Xbox, for instance, with the lack of E3, will do a fan fest surrounding their showcase and bring back an in-person Xbox showcase at the Microsoft Theater?
I would hope so. Personally, I would hope for everybody.
Yeah.
That way we don't feel like we missed hardly anything.
I mean, I want Sony
right?
to do it, but without the flute man.
Yeah, of course. Nobody wants to do it. Yeah, I do want to show straightforward where you just do it. I mean, I kind of do miss, like, like how they used to do, they show the game and then like they'll do the sit down. You'll see the kind of like you get more details of the game, like live type of thing, like PSX. I do kind of wish they would go back to it. Obviously, I guess they're waiting for the world to get back to normal to really do it, because they did trademark PSX. So obviously, it's not going anywhere. But I do really miss like just that ability to go, hey, we're live here. Why don't you come meet us up here? And we all meet up and we can, literally see the stuff live. Seeing a game and experiencing like can you guys imagine all this were at that 2016 E3 with the God of Wars, the Spider-Mans, all that, the Xbox, you got the orchestra. Can you imagine how much more impactful that would have been if you were part of that energy and just part of that moment? See what I'm saying? It's like that's what you really care about more so than just the reveals and meeting everybody. You want to be part of the moment. You want to be part of the history. And
it's an experience.
Yeah, it really is. And it just sucks that we won't get that option, it feels like, for E3.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I mean, I still look back at some of the times where, I mean, one of the standout moments was when they slid the Xbox 360 case off the top and the slim one was inside.
Yeah.
That was so good.
And I remember thinking, oh, that was clever. And then they announced everybody in the room gets a free one. It's under your chair. And I thought, oh, I need to go to this. This is not fair.
I want a free console.
Yeah, it's like Oprah with Xboxes.
But you know what it is, and it's funny because Mick, like a lot of us, we were, and obviously BitCloud, you were on the Iron Lords just this Sunday gone, and they were speaking about and obviously sitting there listening to their stories, you probably sat like us and just think, I'm jealous, because some of their stories were just so funny to hear, but also so amazing to hear about their experiences live in person at these events
But again,
as well.
it's all about taking normal guys like us, right?
Yeah.
Gamers, and making them feel special. And that's the thing about what they just said, like with the E3 with Microsoft, they all felt special walking out of the show, the events, you know, the experience. I'm like going, damn, that would have been epic if I was there or a part of something like that, or seen that happen for PlayStation. I was a part of that. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the cool thing about it. So
Yeah.
But I agree. I absolutely agree. And it's just, again, it's wild that not that many people probably will ever get a chance to experience something like that again. You know, you would hate to hear E3 or shows like this be considered the times of the old, right? And everything's just streamed, and we'll never have those meet and greets or things like that. And it's like, don't get me wrong, it's cool to talk to somebody via Discord, like in a chat like this. It's cool to do that, interact them. But when you don't have them face to face type of thing and have like that legit interaction, that's a complete different story by itself, and it really does add more, in my opinion.
It is, and you know what? The one thing that's going to, even if they have an in-person PlayStation event, like PSX, and they have an in-person Xbox FanFest event, the one thing E3 did was culminate all of those events into a week. So you had a week of non-stop gaming news and in-person, so you could go there and everyone could hang out for like the week. They could go to all these different events. You could go out, have food together, have drinks together, just interact, socialize. And just everyone that enjoyed gaming. Now, obviously, if you're doing separate events that have no ties to each other, you have a PlayStation event, so it's just PlayStation fans, but that's one day, and then it's done. And then you've got an Xbox event, and that's one day, and then it's done. There is no
Nintendo, and then you got in between to keep the flow going. You got the Ubisoft, you got the EA, you got the Square Enix, you got the PC. You know what I'm saying? Like it all felt like just a nonstop moment for us.
And I'd stay awake till the wee hours of the morning watching all of them
again and again.
Dude, I loved it.
The morning
book the week off work.
Recorded a video and literally went right to sleep. Got up. I was right on time, getting right to the PlayStation. I was like, "Oh, let's do this again." I was like, "Dude, I was in. I was locked in."
I love that.
Like,
I love that.
I'm not missing that. I'm not missing any of this. And I remember calling out of work to watch E3.
Yeah,
that's how important it was to me. I was like, dude, I'm not going to work.
Like, oh no, I need to go home because
it's like Gamers Christmas.
Yeah,
I used to book it off.
Huge Christmas style event for gamers.
And, you know, you talking about the epic moment.
Used to inform the wife. Inform the wife, I'm not available this week. Don't ask me to do anything. I will either be watching E3, gaming, or sleeping. It'll be one of the three.
Yeah.
just seeing those epic moments that he said with the slim Xbox. I still remember that with the 360. I was like, holy hell! Like, okay, we got the OG 360. Why they keep showing off this 360? Like, it just sitting here. It's like, oh, by the way, that's the slim. Okay, okay, they're playing games here, but then it gets even more epic, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you guys get one. I'm like, you lucky bastards.
Yeah, you lucky.
Why am I not there? Like, why am I not there? So, but again, it's moments like that. It's like it makes you want to go. It just makes you want to just be a part of it, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks, man.
It does.
I mean, maybe PAX can fill the void, but I don't think PAX will ever fill the void that E3 is. Just like I don't think the Game Awards. I love what Keely's doing, but Keely, I think Keely knows deep down this is just more of his thing, and he knows he won't be the E3 that we wanted to be, type of thing.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a separate show and he goes, "Hey, E3's back, but we're doing it this way." You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they bring it back, but I don't think it's going to be like that.
Yeah. Mick, what do you think they need to do then? What do you think all these companies need to do in order to step up this year specifically?
That's a difficult one, isn't it? I really.
What would you like
to
see them do?
Don't want.
What would you want?
The one thing I don't want them to do is what Ubisoft did. Was it last year when they did one month, and then like 2.5 months, 3.5 weeks later, they did another one, and they spread it out across. It must have been a good couple of months.
Yeah, it was for both.
Might
It was
even been
both.
more.
Yeah, that was Xbox, PlayStation. Everyone did it. They had like 2-3 shows. in the space
Ubisoft
of a
really
couple of
dragged it out though, and especially when they had feck all to announce.
Yeah,
it was just like you could have done all that in one show.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, I don't want them to do that again. I'm really gutted that E3 is going this way because, like BitCloud said, it is our Super Bowl. It is our,
Mhm.
you know, it is our FA Cup final or whatever you're into. It is the gamers equivalent, and
Yep.
it just feels like we've had that taken away from us. And
So-
when everything
Yeah.
else has got, when gaming seems to have got so popular because of the pandemic, the one thing we all look forward to in gaming is the one thing we're not getting.
Yeah.
It's a real weird mix of gaming's exploded, yet the one thing that all the gamers look forward to has been taken away.
Yeah. Yeah. Our Super Bowl is no more.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
I
really
just-
it's really disappointing, and I don't know. I don't think I have an answer. You know, I don't think any of us realistically do of what they could do. I just want my E3 back.
Yeah.
I just liked having, you know, oh right, so it's Xbox on the Saturday, and it's PlayStation on the Monday, you know, and then Nintendo, and then Ubisoft, and then just having that rota and thinking, right, I need to go get work done, get back in time to watch that one, then, you know, and just get it all just sort of planned out. It was brilliant, and it's gone, and I miss
Yep,
it.
everyone in the gaming world would prepare for that, like middle of the month of June, when the event would be ready. You'd
Book it off
get
work.
your snacks together, you get your food all sorted, and you,
Oh, yeah.
you just wait for E3, and then you
Counting
indulge
the
in
days.
snacks and just amazing content, and you stay up really late and watch it all, and then the next day you'd think, damn, there's so many great games coming. I'm gonna have no money by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I think that the thing that I'm gonna miss is that like me, Erwin, Emil, Perepuk, and Barry, we all went in one party, watched the show, and just, you know, like sitting in a party and just enjoy the thing, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I'm gonna miss the most. You know, like
Oh.
hearing the excitement of the other guys, and it's just, yeah, it's a bummer that it's cancelled. And I think I cannot say it better. I think I cannot say it better than like Mick did. It's our Super Bowl, you know, like that was just perfect, like you said that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's,
that's
and
no-
I had last year I had the same I know you mean with being in a party chat, because me and my mate Chris are usually in it every year, party chat, watching the show. And last year, even with just the live one show that we had, you know, for Xbox, he didn't get to do it with me because he was on his honeymoon. So I had to just watch it, you know, on my own, and I had my son with me, but I was constantly texting him with updates.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know how big a Sea of Thieves fan I am, so is he. And then that Pirates Life thing dropped. I couldn't even type. I was like, what do I write? Oh my! And all I could write was, "Oh my God," about 20 times.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What? Just tell me what?" And I'm like, my brain couldn't comprehend it at all. And I just sat there thinking, "God damn it! I just want it just how it normally is. This is horrible." And like you say, it's just gone. And
See,
it's
that's the
gonna-
thing as well. Like, obviously, we know Xbox is still going to do a streamed event. It's obviously they're going to be doing the best they can to do it, and they have a lot to Xbox specifically compared to last year, which we all fondly remember, because of course we covered that. We had an absolutely amazing stream covering the Xbox Bethesda showcase last year, and it was just game after game after game after game. What an awesome stream that was. I've got very fond memories of it, and of course time to time I go back and watch that as well and watch people's reactions, because we had Daj Knight on there. We had who else did we have on the show? Sean from Gamers Watch was there
I remember that.
panel member, yeah. And quite a few others, and just watching everybody's reactions and the way people, even at Sea of Thieves, like everyone was just like, is this Pirates of the Caribbean? Is it? And then you're seeing the characters and you're like, it is? That is big. And it was just
But E3, it became tradition for gamers, and we'd all have our own special E3 that we'd plan for. And the whole week comes along, we'd either sit in a party with friends. For me, I'd watch it every time with my dad. I grew up watching it with my dad. Like, I first got into E3. God, it must have been 2006, I think, was the first E3 I watched, or it was 2005. One of them. And I was watching it with my dad, and it became a tradition for me and my dad to watch it every year. And that's the way it's been for me. We watch all the events together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really hope, you know what it is, I hope this year specifically, because I like, don't get us wrong, I like the state of plays at times for Sony. But sometimes I prefer them when they do a little bit more of a stage presence. The way that Microsoft managed to do their streamed version of their showcase last year was perfectly spaced out. It was perfectly timed. They had enough of the talking and enough of the games. There wasn't like a bad in between there. That was a perfect kind of layout for what it should be. And like I say, as much as I like Sony's State of Play events, I would much rather them have it like a stage presence type of event, like the likes of what Xbox did last year. So I hope to see this year, personally, that there's something a little bit more flamboyant from Sony this year when they come to showcasing whatever they're doing. When their show does come out this year, whatever that may be, I hope it is. Maybe it's about an hour long or something, and it showcases quite a bit, and I have a lot of the different games showcased, and I have a little bit more stage presence, and they put a little bit more into it other than these fancy overlays and graphics. It's nice seeing that on when you're doing these little tiny state of plays to showcase a game. But as we found from some of the showcases for some of the state of plays, they are a little bit more bite-sized. There's not much to take from them, and sometimes can feel a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the state of plays. Like, a lot of it, to me, they could just upload it as individual trailers on their YouTube channel. It just feels like a waste of time for me, because most of it's 20 minutes, and I've just become increasingly less interested in Sony's state of plays.
I just want to see, like I say, more of a stage presence from everybody again. We know that Nintendo aren't and never will, because they do their own Treehouse Live type thing. But even then with Treehouse Live, at least they've got... I've forgotten even the name of the guy now. Obviously it's Doug Bowser's one of them, which I still think is hilarious, by the way, the fact that they managed to get a guy called Bowser in charge of Nintendo.
You so knew where he was going to end up when he joined the company.
He was like, as soon as he was born, he was like, okay, I'm definitely working at Nintendo, aren't I? There's no ifs or buts about this. But of course, even with them, they do more of it's a pre-recorded show, but at least they've got them kind of standing and talking to the camera and things like that, and a little bit more of I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy this. A little bit more personable.
Yeah, and have a bit more fun with it. You don't get that with PlayStation.
And that's what I want from PlayStation this year. If they're going to do a digital event, make it a bit more personable. Have your studio heads on there. Have your Herman Hulsts. Have your Corey Barlogs. Have your Jim Ryan. Whoever you want to put on there. Whoever's in charge of these.
Not Jim Ryan. He's too awkward.
Yeah. Have your Yoshida. Get him on there.
Herman
talking about
Hulst.
your indies.
I'd rather listen to Herman Hulst. At least he sounds like a gamer.
Yeah. But get them in a stage presence type of thing. They were good state of play that kind of looks like it's being produced in a stage, or even if you can get some kind of crowd there, like a small crowd that you're introducing these to, please do try it, for the love of God. I can see Microsoft trying to get some kind of media press or press involved in their showcase this year, and potentially get some fans. Even maybe we'll see what that's like, but some fans in there to do a fan fest. I know they're definitely thinking about doing some kind of fan fest this year. I know they're definitely thinking of doing a fan fest type of thing for Gamescom. We'll see how that pans out, but of course Gamescom's ones that I'm certainly thinking about going to this year. I don't know about anybody else. I know Boxenberger was also debating on trying to get there as well, depending on his family holiday plans.
Yeah, I won't be able to do it this year.
Yeah.
Not this year.
I'd like to, but there's still plans to go. You know, we're still thinking we might end up in Holland. So
I mean, you can take a diversion.
Yeah, but I don't think probably won't be at the same time though. So it'll be later. So.
You could. I mean, we could arrange. Oh dear me! But Jen, what do you make of it? What do you think they need to do? What would you like to see them do?
Don't know. I need to just like. A lot of it is like people like Nintendo, they don't want to pay that sort of entry fee and all that stuff. So we need to really bring that down. Because we've seen Nintendo go from E3 and do their own thing, then Sony followed suit. So E3 sort of has been chipped away at over recent years until the point where it's just become how it is now, and the pandemic obviously didn't help that. Didn't they say that it is going to come back next year?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it. If they do come back, I think it'll be for a one last hurrah, and then that'll be it.
For me, for me, they need to do some serious catching up with the times in order to try and bring it back again. And like you mentioned, those entry fees for the publishers and the platform holders, they need to seriously reduce those. The problem is the ESA is pretty much all self-funded. So without the funding that they're charging for all these guys, I don't think they'll be able to put a show on in the first place. These mega corporations can pay for themselves. So what these guys have got to do really is just say, can we affiliate the shows that you're putting on with our event? And can we all agree that these events are going to happen within this week time period? We'll control the smaller publishers in our hallways. You do whatever you want near in LA, in your own theatres or whatever you want to do. But can we all have them within a week's time span, so at least we can get them all in one place? I think that's probably the best for E3, because we've seen what happened last year with Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest, as well as E3. They both, E3 and Jeff Keighley, claimed every showcase as part of their showcase. like Jeff Keighley was like part of Summer Games Fest, and it was like the Xbox showcase. I was like, yeah, but this is the E3 Xbox showcase, so it's not the Summer Games Fest one. But then he was saying it was the Summer. Like, I was like, what is going on? So you're both claiming it. So who? No one belongs. It doesn't belong to anybody. You're both showcasing it. So if that's the way it's going to be going forward, then so be it. Then everybody showcase it, as long as I can fucking watch it.
my biggest problem with Jeff Keighley is his programs is the adverts.
He's got to ditch the sheer amount of adverts.
Put up with adverts. Full stop on anything. So having literally his show is 70% adverts and 30% games. It's just. Oh, it's egregious. It just really annoys me. I can't watch it. I don't watch it anymore. Anything of his shows, I just don't watch them.
And he really loves Kojima. Really loves Kojima.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He's a big fan. Big fan of Kojima.
But I just leave his show and then next day look for all the videos.
Yeah.
You know, all the thingies. Now, I'm not interested in his shows at all anymore. So
personally, I think E3, it might come back for one last hurrah, but I don't think it'll be how it used to be. Someone will make their own version of an E3 and whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we will have an E3-like thing, and it likely will just replace it.
Yeah. I agree. Of course, we will still get showcases this year. We'll still get events. The problem is we don't have what we used to have, which was a week-long event where all of us mega gamers and huge gaming enthusiasts and fans alike that love video games could literally just go, this is our week. Like, there's so much news this week. I'm so looking forward to it because, like, we've got all the new Xbox stuff. We've got loads of PlayStation stuff, loads of Nintendo, Ubisoft stuff. We've got all of these guys all coming together. 1 week of news, and it's just packed with new stuff and loads of surprises.
June was for the gamers.
Now, we don't know when any of that's happening, when each of them are doing their showcase. Is it going to be in a week? Is it going to be spread out over a month? Is it going to be like, what is happening?
This is the problem with it, is it? When they're all left to their own devices, they don't want to overlap.
Yep.
They want to take the limelight for themselves, which is understandable.
Yep.
You know, because that is one of the downsides of E3, is that you could watch everything in a week.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, somebody goes, "Oh, did you see that game?" And you're like, "No." And you're like, "Yeah, it was announced at E3." And you're like, "Was it?" And then you watch a video, E3 show, and it's like, "Ah, I missed that." That's cool. I didn't see that at all. So there is that problem of, like, with E3, that stuff gets missed quite easily. And I can see why now, when they're left to their own devices, they see Microsoft, and it'll be June 10th, say, because it's usually around that date. And then, let's say, Ubisoft or EA or PlayStation or whatever, they look at it and go, yeah, we'll leave it for a bit. We'll do it maybe the week later. Because we want to let that die down so that we can come in and hit it with, like, lots of news and dominate the... we don't want to be fighting for attention on social media. We want all the attention on ourselves. Yeah. Obviously, some companies jump in and go, we're going to steal that attention and, push you out. But, for the most part, they just kind of space themselves out. And that's been the problem, hasn't it, with E3? Not E3, the individual showcases is... Because you just don't know when they're coming. Yeah. They tend to be weeks and weeks apart, if not months.
And like we had, not last year, but the year before, as you mentioned, when it was all messed up and they had like 3 showcases each. Oh. The problem with that is that we had to literally wait week on week for the announcement of when the showcase was.
When the next show would come.
About what's going to happen the week after. It was like, wait, but when? When, so I can plan? I am a content creator. I need to plan this shit. I can't.
It's like the Call of Duty announcement, wasn't it? It was the countdown timer to when the countdown for the actual show started.
Yeah, it was a countdown timer for a countdown timer.
Why do they keep announcing Call of Duty games in Warzone as well? Like, come on, jeez. And it's always some drawn-out event that takes 3 weeks or so, and then, like... When the game's announced, we're like, oh, that wasn't that special.
Because the problem is because Fortnite does their season updates as an event in the game. So they've tried to copy that by doing their announcements in the Warzone, and it doesn't work because unfortunately Fortnite and Epic have got mega money, and they're like, what we're going to do is get the biggest rap stars in the world to do a live music event that is automatically going to kick into the next season. So... So it's going to do all this stuff live, it's all going to be interactive, then the entire game's going to implode, boop, and then the new season starts.
Well, you've got that kind of power, you might as well use it.
Yep.
But, like you say, it
doesn't work for everybody. Stop. You don't have to copy someone because somebody else, it works for them. It doesn't work for you. Like, that's why, like, there's a new indie game as well that was announced the other day. And a lot of people were like, comment on it because it looks like a Sea of Thieves. You might have seen it, Mick. It was an indie game that was like a pirate game.
Sea Salt 2 or something.
But even the developers themselves said, "Listen, this isn't Sea of Thieves. Like they do the open ocean pirating, gun blasting, cannon fire, and fighting PvP stuff brilliantly, and we're going to leave them to do that. We're going to focus on the PvE stuff. We're going to focus on the adventure and." The finding things and etc. and not get involved with the PvP side of things because Sea of Thieves do that brilliantly. So we're not going to do that.
Glad you reminded me of that because I'm going to now look it up on Steam because I've forgotten about that.
Yeah. So that guy, he's saying no, we love Sea of Thieves. Like we've got our inspiration from that. We're just not going to attempt to go against them when it comes to PvP because they've got that nailed. It's like you say, you've got to understand where you're gonna do well and where you're not gonna. And certain companies do well better than others. To wrap this up, BitCloud, would you say you'd like to see more of for this year at least Sony bring at least some form of fan presence back to whatever showcase they produce?
Yeah, it's long overdue.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I want to see. I just want to see that interactivity again. Like, it's all well and good seeing these showcases. And like we say, last year's Xbox Bethesda showcase was tremendous. But it still missed the fan interaction of everybody getting hyped.
I think they're all going to come back as some form. It depends on the state of the world and how stable we are by then.
Yeah.
Once that's at a point where we can have even better vignettes and whatnot, then you will see the fan interaction stuff come back. But right now, and this is where E3 falls as the biggest target right now.
Yeah.
This is where a lot of stuff's falling through. So I prefer that to be digital, but they don't want to preserve E3. So there you go.
Definitely. Next up, we will talk, and I'm obviously BitCloud, it's perfect to have you here this week. We were going to be talking about the PS Plus tiered system, new revamp, rebrand, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it is.
You gonna tell the world how you were paying 120, Dutch? I saw that. I saw you updated your tier.
Yes, let's talk about this. No, but seriously, the new rebranding of the tiered system by PS Plus. My personal opinion, it's a half-arsed. Jim Ryan doesn't really want to do it, but understands that he kind of has to do something. So he's kind of getting some kind of service involved. Not really there, but kind of is there. What they're providing is literally just a rebrand of PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus combined into certain sections, and also now giving you demos that are essentially chargeable.
And charge you
paying for demos now.
And you're also paying for discounts.
Yes, and you're paying for discounts. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're paying. Yeah, you don't get the discount just to get in. No, you have to pay to get into the next years, which again is egregious. But hey, it's a good deal.
That's paying for cloud saves.
Yeah, it's a good deal, guys. It's a good deal.
What do you make of it, though? What do you make of it? As a PlayStation fan primarily, as a PlayStation-centric creator, seeing that and seeing them announce it. Of course, we've seen a lot of the rumors before it came out, and the vast majority of what we've seen as the rumor turns out to be true. So, what did you make of that?
That's the wild part. I keep telling people, I said this in videos, like, majority of these, like, leaks have been on point. Let's say they might get the naming wrong or whatnot, right? But the overall concept and how they gone about them, how they broke them down, it's on point. Like, even with the leaks for this, the names are wrong, but everything else is virtually identical. Now, the biggest thing that I thought that was going to be announced for this was Crunchyroll. There was no mention of that whatsoever. Now, he said more stuff's coming down the road.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do when they get there. But we're talking about just base face value here. $120 gets you PS1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PSP and Vita games. And mind you, a good chunk of these are not downloadable, which is the PS3 titles, which is the main titles that people will be willing to pay for under that tier. So what else are you offering? Oh my, it's the whole thing just made me look at it weird, because it's like, and also we're talking about free games, so you get monthly. Now usually PlayStation Plus does give you a good selection of games for the month or whatnot.
Yeah.
But they're talking about additional games on top of this. So if you're asking for $120 a year, then you got to really look at what's also being offered in the monthly games you're going to get. Like, for example, it can't be no months where it's like, meh, it can't be.
Yeah.
It can't be like that at all. It has to be like top notch after month after month after month type of thing. Now they're saying they're working with third-party publishers, which is cool. That's gonna definitely add more to it for sure. But when we're talking about the first party, this is where I come back to that conversation, which I've had multiple times, on when these games are gonna eventually drop. Now, obviously, Jim said day and date's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
At least not yet. But Jim says a lot of things, and he turns his back on a lot of decisions. So I don't want to put faith in him saying, "Oh, it's not gonna happen eventually," because at one point, we're going to be at this point where we're going to see games day and date of some form, whether it be in this or whether it be on PC or something. Something's going to give eventually.
Yeah.
We don't know when, but I'd be surprised by the end of this generation that we don't see a form factor of some sorts, or a form in terms of how they distribute this, where it's day and date on another platform. I would not. And when we go back to this and just breaking it down, they announced a good amount of games on this already coming for PlayStation 5. But when it comes to the newer titles, I can see that yearly drop-off period that we kind of have to wait now for PC drop to 6 months for this. That actually makes sense for 6 months. That way you get your PS5 games that you might have missed out on, right? For the fact that you don't want to pay $70 on. You just wait 6 months. You can play them on there, on that service. Also, if you think about it, you can also look at it on PC. This can also be their caveat into PC. The main thing they keep talking about is Sony bringing in more revenue with this. I mean, obviously they're charging you double the price, so of course they're going to bring in more revenue. But the thing is, you have to back up that price hike of what you're going to pay for.
Yeah.
And streaming the games right now, it's not the option. So it's got to be those PS5 titles 6 months from here. And 6 months seems reasonable. The reason why I say it seems reasonable, usually within a 6-month gap of the game coming out, usually where it stabilizes, it's done. You know, it's done the numbers that it's going to do. It's not like it's going to crazy, unless it's like a crazy hit and it's doing GTA, let's say 5 numbers, which I doubt we'll ever see that on either platform. But yeah, it's going to be at that point. So actually 6 months drop on the service and whatnot. Now if they don't do that and they're just offering what you're offering here, it's pretty dumb. It's a dumb service. It's very mid. Now this just came out with Game Pass was just coming out. I don't think nobody would really be batting eyelash towards it as much.
Yeah.
But when you look at where Game Pass is now, day-and-date games, plus you have the newer titles from Bethesda, you have Activision now part of this. You have so many other publishers on board. More than likely Tomb Raider, the new one, is probably going to make its way to Game Pass some form down the road as well. So it's like, it's tough to look at this and go, yeah, this is amazing. It really is. It's really tough.
Yeah.
And so that's my take on it.
The one thing I noticed straight away there is, and I've seen this from the vast majority of the PlayStation community, the vast majority that I've seen, and obviously a lot of the big PlayStation creators and the big PlayStation voices have all looked at all of the options available and said, the middle tier is fine. I will not go on to premium because there's nothing in that premium model that is worth it.
Yeah. If they had a system in play, like, and again, a lot of people might go, oh, why you compare it to the Xbox? I'm not really trying to compare this to Xbox, but if we're talking about just like the grand scheme of things, right, and making it work, because obviously the point behind PlayStation Plus Premium is nostalgia, is it not? That's kind of the point behind this whole service. So if you don't have the steps in place to where you make it easy for everybody to experience these games that they're paying $120 for a year, what's the point of offering it in general? You know what I mean? Streaming games, it's not like streaming a movie. There are many aspects you got to take into account here. And people might go, oh, I never had a problem with PlayStation Now. They're lying through their teeth. I have Google Fiber like internet here. I have gigabit speed here. It's not good. No. It's not a good service for that. It's just not.
Even
and it's
the
not,
streaming,
like
I've tried the console streaming on PlayStation before the PC, and it is not good.
It's not good, and that's not even a shade or a dig towards Sony. Sony thought they had that they thought they had that one well thought out. But the thing is, Sony likes to push graphics, and these games get more ambitious over time.
Yeah.
So the fact that if your games are going to get that ambitious and you want to put that on the streaming service, guess what? You have to update those servers even more and got to be consistently updating them. I mean, they're still streaming those servers for PS3s, not updating them to PS4s. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff they'd have to put measures they have to put in place to fix that, and they didn't do. So it's like downloading the games is the only way to do it. Now, there's already reports going around that they're looking on emulation and fixing this, and I got to do a video on it because it goes back to something I said before that they were working on in a patent, but it's
funny. Quite bad.
Am I?
Yeah, after you just said about your internet services.
Oh, am I now?
And then that happened. Yeah, it started dotting a bit.
Am I good now?
Yeah, it seems okay to me.
Okay. But no, when you look
at
that, and when you look at it, just like, it's a lot of stuff to take into account, man. The middle tier is the tier though. PS4 and 5 games, $100, an extra 20 or extra $40. You get those, sure. That doesn't seem like the issue, but 120, ain't nobody's upgrading $120 a year. And people might say they will. You're not updating $120 a year until you see download on everything. And the deflection I see people do.
As well as the vast majority of people pay a monthly subscription. Like not everybody. And people keep saying, oh, well, then just buy yearly. Yeah, but the normal people don't buy yearly subscription. Like, the average consumer pays for something monthly. So the vast majority of people will not. Well, they'll look at the $10 that you're paying or the $15 that you're paying for Game Pass Ultimate, which gets you several platforms, downloadable content, as well as cloud streaming. And then they compare it to $18, the $18, $19 version. That is PlayStation Premium, and they look at them both and they go,
And a lot of things, a lot of people are also forgetting to count too. Now they did say that these games are not going away, so to speak.
Yeah.
So like you know when you get your PS5, you get that access to that game in that library type of thing where they're optimized for PS5, so you have something to play when you get your PS5 until you start buying games. Those will still be there. But what does that say about the other tiers?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? They're not going to add any more games to that free option there. So are these games going to be thrown into that, or are you going to just throw? You know what I mean? You're just going to throw everything into the other tiers. Everything else is just so branched out, and it's like, I get it. You want to make more money out of it, and you clearly can. There's a lot of money Sony can make out of pure nostalgia, but there are ways to do this where it's less egregious. I mean, Microsoft, they made it so easy where you can just plug in the OG disc in the console, and guess what? It'll fire up. All trophies and all that stuff will still pop, etc. You can't do that on the PS5 right now.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. And, you know, you hear about this new emulator that was made from like 3 people. It's like a team of 3 or 4
for the
people.
PS3, and it works fine.
And it's very perfect. Like everybody's saying, it's so good. It's great. It upscales, does all that. So I'm like, if 3 dudes working out of a basement can do this, why can't you on a grand scale? You can do this 15 times better. The problem is pressure. Sony's never been pressured to do something like this, and a lot of people just kind of give them the pass. They go, well, I have no problem. Like, you think about it. Everybody has a convenient excuse. $70 games. Oh, you guys are knocking innovation. Support the developer. Excuse me?
Yep.
$70 for games? What am I getting for $70? 6-hour experiences online or story modes? That's egregious to me. I'm not with that. So I'm saying I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's why you see Sony changing the factor of their games. Everything seems to be more open world-esque. You notice that, right?
Yeah.
Just packed with stuff. It's not like, oh, a straightforward story and you get all this stuff added, DLC included type of thing. No, that stuff comes later. Last of Us Part 2 is a prime example of this. They just added 2 separate games. What could have been 2 separate games, right? Mashed it into one. It was like, yeah, here's a story. There's Last of Us 2. And the sad part is you're about to pay for that again. When you get that remake for Last of Us 1, that's probably going to be thrown in there with factions for $70.
$70.
So and that's where I'm at with the whole thing. It's sad.
Yeah.
But you know how people are.
Yep.
They have an excuse.
Yep.
Mick, what do you make of the tiered system? You don't have a PlayStation as it stands, do you? Or do you?
No, I've had PlayStations in the past.
Yeah.
You know, I had all of it, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I had PSPs, all sorts. But yeah, I fell off it after the PS3, and yeah, the tier systems, like BitCloud said, it seems odd. You know, those lower tiers, I think, are the ones that are going to suffer because they're not going to get. You know, I can't get over the whole fact that you have to pay for cloud saves.
Yeah.
Seems...
That's the first thing I noticed, as well as the fact that they've still got cloud save bundled in there. I was like, why are you still charging people for saving the game? Like, what?
I get it. It's the Sony haven't got the massive infrastructure in cloud that Microsoft have to be able to supply.
Yeah, but I mean,
that.
they've also purchased Azure cloud servers from Microsoft.
Exactly.
So
I mean, if y'all would have looked at the history, you know what they could have done? They could have approached this like they did with the PlayStation Network. Remember how they built everything around it? The trophy stuff came later, all that stuff. But they were consistently updating you on what's happening. Do that if you need to. Build the infrastructure around it. But the thing is, Sony's always been like this. They always put 1 foot in and 1 foot's out type of approach when it comes to this. You notice how you didn't get a complete, like a legit complete infrastructure that was actually competent until PS4? That's when you got your first ever PlayStation Network, and wasn't the greatest. Not the
I was going to
greatest.
say, even then,
it
still wasn't great.
But compared to what you got on PS3, it is worlds better. It was worlds better. It was much more efficient. It was much more convenient for you. Beforehand, you couldn't do voice calls in PlayStation. You had to go into the little meeting room, and it's like a little room full of bubble. It's like a little bubble room. You're sitting there with cameras. You can't play games. Can't do nothing. You're just sitting there talking. That's what you had to do on PS3. PS4, they fixed that.
We've seen.
I remember that.
We've seen that. I remember PS2 trying to join online with PS2. That was an even worse experience. But the we saw the whole fiasco when they tried to make it so you could update your gamer tag or your PSID. It's so they're just so
you might
all the
lose
games.
your progress and all that stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
you might lose progress, your games. I'm like, so you want us to have a liability of losing all our stuff because of a name change that you're offering, and you didn't test us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll work it out.
Hard
Okay, well, when you
pass.
work it out, you let me know.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just stick with this name because I'm not losing all of my purchase history because I want to change my name.
Yeah, I got people hitting me up all the time. Come, you don't change your name because I don't have to. I don't want to. It's fine. It's fine where it is. So that's them.
Just absolutely mad. Jen, what did you make of the tier list? What do you? How do you think they can improve upon it?
I'm not interested. The cloud saves is an issue for me. I've got a PlayStation 4. I barely played it. Last time I booted that up was for Death Stranding a few months back. Well, no, about a month ago. Sorry. Day and date is something that I would want if I was going to pay 120. Is what I would expect to see from that, and you don't get that, so that's not an interest to me.
That's what I was saying. I was saying, like, on this top tier bracket, which is $18 a month, on that, and they keep mentioning, this is what I can't get away with Jim Ryan saying that it's they wouldn't be able to give the same level of funding to studios, etc. But if you're converting, even at $15, 50 million, which is the amount of PlayStation Plus subscribers they currently have, at the middle bracket, the one that the vast majority of people will probably go for, the middle one, at $15, that's £7.2 billion per year at £15 for the middle bracket. 7.2 billion. You're telling me 7.2 billion, not including microtransactions or any third-party games. That's just subscription fees. You're telling me that level that's coming into the business isn't good enough to be able to fund the studios you have? The games, as we know, the first-party AAA games that Sony produce cost anywhere from 50 to 150 million to make. As we know from The Last of Us, that was close to 150, 200 million, so that's a top-tier one. Even if you added the studios up and say 6 to 7 titles, that's not even £1 billion worth of investment out of that 7.2 billion that you've got from just the service. So I don't understand Jim's Ryan's position on this.
As well, though. But you gotta also think about licensing as well going around. One of Sony's biggest games that we got looking forward to is Wolverine.
Yeah,
we're still waiting for gameplay reveal of that, and we're at Spider-Man as well. So they have a lot of stuff they have to obviously look out before these games get into that meeting and go, okay, so what about Spider-Man 3? You know what I mean? Like, they have to do a lot. They just, and again, we're not even counting movies. Sony just made, like, Sony almost beat the Avengers.
Yeah.
With Spider-Man alone with No Way Home. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I think that would have beaten the Avengers.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it's a lot. It's a lot to definitely take in for it. In terms of like money in general, though, and like you said, Last of Us was like almost 200 million to make.
Yeah.
The thing about Last of Us, though, Last of Us one of those, or not Last of Us, well, really Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog's kind of like their rock star of their studios.
Yeah, they make one game a gen.
Pretty much, it feels like. I mean, granted, they did show off a roadmap, and they mentioned their roadmap. Like, for example, they're saying another Uncharted is being made. They did say, obviously, we got the remake of Last of Us 1, and they still had that.
I still don't think we need that remake. It's so pointless.
It's pointless. It is pointless. But, you know, dudes are defended. Oh, I want to play it again. I'm like, I don't. I played it twice. I want something new. But more likely, you're going to get that and Last of Us 2 merged into one type of thing with
I can see
factions.
that coming to PC day and date. The Last of Us remake.
Not sure. I mean, factions, unless they do something with factions free to play. Maybe factions can go to PC. I'm not sure. But looking at that studio though, that's like their main one though that they kind of like use as like the leverage for like the big budget. I mean, granted, I'm not even sure how much Spider-Man took Insomniac to make, but if you look at the way they've been pumping out games, it's probably not that much. You know what I'm saying?
So good.
Yeah. So it's up in the air, man.
The only quote that I've got from this, personally, the service, from what I can see, from what I can take from it anyway, so far, is that they kind of feel, this looks like Jim Ryan's kind of feeling like, I'm creating something because I feel like I have to create something, not because he wants to. So he's put this service out, it's there, he's not really that bothered about it. Will change if it needs to, is kind of his approach. We're not saying we'll never put them in day and date. That could happen in the future, is what he said. But the quote that just got me was the fact that he's saying, if I did put it in day and date, then the first party's going to suffer in terms of the investment. And I don't see why that would be the case. Or even on another front, saying that the quality of the games would suffer. And now, if it's going into a service, the quality of Insomniac and Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica and all of those, Sony Bend and everybody in between, and Sucker Punch, the quality of those studios aren't just going to automatically degrade just because they're doing just day and date into a service. Like,
yeah, I take Jim Ryan's words with the tiniest grain of salt. His words mean nothing to me.
But it's, you know what I mean? The actual quality of these developers isn't going to just change overnight because you're saying, right, your games are going into a service. Like, the developers aren't all of a sudden just going to wake up and go, oh, forgotten how to draw, or forgotten how to code, or oh, I'm really, really bad at QA today, I don't know why. That's not how it happens. Like, talented developers will always be talented developers, so they're always going to put out really great quality work, and we've seen that from Sony PlayStation Studios over the last entire generation, essentially last gen, and coming into the beginning of this gen, the work, of course, is still really great. And we expect to see that level of quality going forward, so I don't understand Jim Ryan's position on, if we put it into a day-and-date scenario, then the quality of the games going forward is going to suffer. Does anybody kind of understand that or why that would be the case?
I don't know. Jim Ryan says a lot of stuff.
You know, that sounds like reassurance. Just saying that to, because dudes, they're good at playing off the words. They're good off of playing off the crowd. So, how people push that narrative. Oh, the quality is going to go down. I don't think quality will go down. It's just that comes down to the studio at the end of the day. Yeah. Now, a lot of people like to bring up Halo Infinite, though, but Halo Infinite is one of those conversations that's completely different. Like, they decided to launch a game with less modes than needed. And I'm like, that's a different story. Yeah. That comes down to the studio.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Pat, I know you... Go on.
I was going to talk about the backwards compatibility. That does appeal to me, but if it's not downloadable and I have to stream it, I don't really care. Yeah. Streaming's the bonus for me. But there's
usually would be
so many games on there that I would play.
If anybody streamed PlayStation Now before, it's not.
I've had PlayStation Now, and it's garbage. Yeah. Streaming is awful on it.
I tried to stream this. I tried to give it a chance.
Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, one of my favorite Metal Gear games of all time. I've tried to stream that from there, and not a great experience trying to stream a game like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't appeal to me. Like, I'd rather go buy a PS3 and play that than sign up to a subscription service for a streaming service that is not that great. Yeah. They need to get better infrastructure for their streaming. And preferably, I'd prefer it to be downloadable. But yeah. That's not going to happen anytime soon. So yeah, it doesn't appeal to me. I'm not bothered about it. I don't even pay for PS Plus as it is, because the only games I play on the PlayStation are single player games. Yeah. Why do I need PS Plus?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Enough.
No. I'm about to dip out. It's literally thundering over here. I just heard the thunder. That explains my body. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here? It's like,
no problem, brother. No problem. We'll give you your dues and wave you goodbye. If you let people know, of course, what you've got coming up, because I know you've got a lot of stuff coming up at the moment. We've got a lot of awesome stuff in the works. So let people know where they can find you, brother, and what you've got coming up this week.
Yeah, good to be back on the show. Sorry again for leaving. The damn weather is literally thundering, so my apologies. But I'll be back next week in terms of what we got coming up. I'm waiting on the okay from Jeff, but everything goes right. Next month, we'll have Jeff Keighley on the show, so I'm looking forward to talk to him about everything for the Game Awards and whatnot. So it's going to be awesome, and for Summer Games Fest as well. In terms of the channel, it's Big Cloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You guys find me there. Also, I work with IGN as a freelancer, so if you guys want to see what I do, I have it actually pinned up on my Twitter. If you guys want to see stuff I've done so far, it's up there. But yeah, appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, everybody in the panel, appreciate y'all. I will see you next week, and of course, y'all be good.
Indeed.
See you later, mate. Take care.
Come
Nah, later, guys.
Take care, man.
Of course, Patio. Of course, being a non-PlayStation gamer as well. What do you make of that? What would have convinced you to get a PlayStation if this service would have been half decent?
Well, I think I go with Jen as well. I'll probably will not do it because I think it's unfair compared to the people that like have tier 1 and the people that have premium. You know, like this shows that, and that's what I've been thinking since this been announced. It's all about the money, you know.
Yeah.
Because they know for sure that a lot of people are going for the premium tier, but the ones that have tier 1, they basically get nothing, you know. So you're like with other words, they're saying you need to buy premium to get some stuff, and it's I don't know. I cannot even think about like if you have this with Gamepass.
Yeah.
You know.
The only difference with Game Pass is, of course, if you have Ultimate, you get xCloud, and you get PC. If you don't have Ultimate, you have the console, and the Game Pass on console, and you don't get cloud. But that's it. That's the difference.
I play for Ultimate, and I get to enjoy the games on the Xbox, or I can play games on the PC, or I can load up a game on my phone while I'm sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
You can buy like Game Pass Ultimate for a year, and you can buy Game Pass Ultimate for 3 months.
Yeah.
And you have the same thing. People have the same thing. You can play the same games. You can do the same things. PC, cloud, you name it. And with PlayStation, you don't have that. So it's. I see it as a disappointment towards the players. It's no. It's not a thing that I would do.
Yeah.
Even if Xbox had it, you know.
No, that makes sense.
No.
Awesome.
And paying for demos is a bit of a piss take as well.
Yeah, that's a strange one.
I can get demos
What,
for free
demos?
on Steam.
Yeah, they get like little demos. No, so basically what EA Play did, but it charges you more for the privilege. So
Ridiculous.
So with EA, of course, with EA Play, you get 10 hours of a game before it goes live. As everybody knows, it has been like that since EA introduced their service. Of course, that went in now as part of Xbox. And of course, with every EA game, 6 months after it's out, it goes into what's classed as the Vault. The Vault, of course, now means 6 months after a game by EA is finished being out, it is then into Game Pass straight away. So 6 months after its release, it's in Game Pass. That's the same with every EA game, which is why I don't buy EA games anymore. I don't need to invest in them or give them my money. And I'd rather not in most occasions, because it's all sports games, so I can avoid paying for that stuff. The good thing is, of course, is the benefits, is you get things like Jedi Fallen Order. Which
There's
is
no way I can wait for that one, though.
No, I wouldn't wait for that one either.
It's the one game that
The
EA
one game.
make.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to wait for.
The benefit is
Still
that
need to
games
complete
like
it.
Battlefield 2042, which a lot of us intentionally didn't buy, we can say, right, well, by the time we get to play it, it'll be relatively working.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
But I think even if Battlefield 2042 is dropping on Game Pass,
Yeah.
it will not be played by a lot of people.
Oh, I know, because a lot of people just stop.
That's my thing. I think that's it. Already, it already
Did the damage.
like we talked about it before. It took the damage. So and it will not heal. So I guess if it drop it on Game Pass, nah, I don't think it will work. But
yeah.
I think they're going
I
to
agree,
abandon
be
that
honest.
Battlefield game so fast.
Yeah, they do. They just
They're already
bounce off
talking
them.
about working on the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
They haven't even fixed the one that they put out.
I don't think they intend to. I really don't.
No, I don't.
I think
They'll just do an Anthem and be like, oh, let's forget about that. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's gone now. Goodbye. That's essentially what they're doing.
like it's
Yeah,
nothing, huh? Like it's nothing.
Yeah,
It's
No.
just the equivalent of them grabbing it from their desktop and throwing it in the recycling bin.
yeah. It's like delete. That didn't work.
Mute all the threads so we don't have to be reminded.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Dear me. But going into the last
Crazy.
topic of today, of course, we had the awesome, and again, I actually completely forgot about it. I remember seeing the advertisement for it by Unreal and Epic about the Unreal showcase, a state of Unreal. But then I completely forgot about it, and all of a sudden, I seen it all over the timeline.
That was me too. And then after it was all over my timeline. I was like, oh, that was on today. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and it turns out there was quite a bit of news came out the back of it. A couple of really, really awesome things to see. First of all, and we'll speak about this because everybody knows about this and has seen it. Probably everybody has seen this section anyway. Of course, the Coalition, one of the best developers using Unreal Engine in general. We're the top developer using Unreal last generation on Unreal Engine 4. And of course, again, showcasing both with the Matrix earlier on, a few months back, and now with this technical showcase by the Coalition showcasing Unreal Engine 5 on its official launch. What was the trailer called? But essentially what looked like a Gears trailer. It isn't Gears. It is not representative
It was
of the game.
The Coalition, the Cavern Cinematic Tech Test demo on Unreal Engine 5.
Yes. The tech test was on a Series X, which was one of the things that was stipulated underneath as well. It was running on a Series X. That was showcasing what it can do on a console, what Unreal Engine 5 can do on a console from a technical perspective. It doesn't, again, as they mentioned, it doesn't show what would be classed as an in-game scenario, so an actual gameplay. What it does do is show kind of the properties of what that engine can do from an open world perspective, so showcasing what an open world can do, how it can be generated. It's showcasing the nanite technology for lighting, showcasing the character and character detail in a cinematic perspective, which to me looked very, very high polished. But really what
really
this
impressed with it.
trailer did for me was just, again, reiterate what we can look forward to this generation from all of the games coming out on Unreal Engine 5. If this, in early gen, just a technical test, can look this great on Unreal Engine 5, then I am looking forward to seeing all of the games that are being produced in Unreal Engine 5 and what they're able to put out on them. Now, the one thing I'd love to see, and of course I don't think we'll see it as much as I'd love for it to happen, but of course you never know. But of course Sea of Thieves we know runs on Unreal Engine. Having the ability to include Sea of Thieves on Unreal Engine 5 or even transitioning over to Unreal Engine 5, because they can do that. They can literally drag and drop every asset and just put it into the new engine, which they could do, and fingers crossed they do, and then introduce nanite technology and things like ray tracing, etc. into Sea of Thieves would be phenomenal.
The water effects are already incredible in that game. Could you imagine what it's going to look like in Unreal Engine 5?
Sea of Thieves has the best water in the gaming
Any
world.
game.
The water physics is
Yeah,
so good.
any
in that.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
and
Even
obviously,
now, even after
Ray
4
is
years
down
of playing
on their
that.
list of developers using Unreal Engine 5. We know Ray is obviously doing more than just one game. We know they've got Everwild as well. But if they can transition Sea of Thieves over to Unreal Engine 5 and upgrade the game's assets, etc., using the new engine in a future update, we know it's a long-standing service game, so it's a possibility. That I think that would be absolutely awesome to see how they can evolve that. I know, Mick, you probably just thinking of it now would be just giddy with excitement.
Yeah,
He's
I mean, it's
dreamy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like I was just saying that, like after 4 years of playing this game, I still sometimes just sat there watching the boat go
I do it
along
every time for a
and watching
sunset.
the water.
The
Yeah,
sunsets.
it is-
I'm just like,
it's something amazing, and Unreal 5 on top of that.
get the
Would
hurdy-gurdy
just
out,
be
play some songs
mind
whilst
up.
the sunset comes down.
While watching the ship burn. With me and Marion just setting the ship on fire when we get out to our shenanigans. Never have me and Marion in the same party when you're playing Sea of Thieves because it's just havoc.
But yeah, I've got that Unreal thing on the second screen here without the sound off, and just looking at some of the stuff that's on here, it's just mind altering.
It's impressive. The
And
lighting
to
effects
see-
on that little pyramid, like diamond looking thing, is
Yeah.
so good.
It's just it looks so good, and like you say with Sea of Thieves, that'd be the dream for me. But yeah, I think it depends on how well. It's the biggest issue with Sea of Thieves is still supporting the older systems. There's only so far they can go without having to sever that cord. And
The good thing about
Yeah.
Unreal though is they've detailed that it works, and it works. Let's put it this way: it works with a Nintendo Switch. So if it can work with a Switch,
yeah,
we're golden.
yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I hope
I
that
can't
something
wait
does.
to see what Gear 6 looks like on
I
this
would-
engine.
I would rather they spent more time doing that than they are talking about trying to fix hit reg on Sea of Thieves, because that's a big topic in Sea of Thieves is the hit reg.
Yeah.
Because people, especially the arena players, they bang on about it. Or
They won't have to bang on about it for long.
Well, they don't, but now there's definitely been an increase in those people that sail up to you to
Yeah.
just come and shoot at you for no reason.
Because they don't have
Ever
arena to
since
take
Arena.
out yeah.
So they're on about a new system called Hits. Well, not a new system, but it's a system like Call of Duty uses, which is called Hit Scam rather than Hit Reg, which is literally just where you click, it draws a line to that point, and no matter what, unless something passes in front of it, it will hit that point, rather than the projectile that it has with Sea of Thieves, which is the bullet travels as
Yeah.
an individual item. And you'll never win an argument with these people, but 17th century flintlock pistols weren't accurate. So the way it is now is more accurate to how it would have actually been than it is using like an AK, not even an AK, but an assault rifle, a modern day assault rifle.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for Sea of Thieves to stay as it is, and instead of putting time into trying to change that, work on Unreal 5 and make the game better.
Yeah.
Because that'd be a better use of time, in my opinion.
Yeah. It'd be absolutely. I'd love to see it, because I'd love to see a game that already looks beautiful in its art style and the way it's presented have the additional benefits of some of the lighting technology that an upgraded Unreal Engine can do, like I said, the nanite technology and the ray tracing, or at least the false ray tracing, that doesn't require such a grand undertaking by the system itself in order to carry out. So you don't want ray tracing in Sea of Thieves. You do and you don't. You can have it for Series X and S players that can be toggled off and on. Great.
Yeah.
But having nanite in a system and the lumens system in the engine that does this without costing the game much on a resource front, and be able to have that technology scan back all the way through to the Xbox One players, and having them be able to play it with these fancy new lighting mechanics and things in there, and not have to get the next system in order to play the ray tracing. I think having that in the game and seeing, like, for instance, going underwater and seeing greater sun rays and things casting underwater coming down, like a little bit more emphasis on them, a little bit more just the lighting in general being a little bit more diffused. As we know with ray traced lighting, it's a little bit more, should we say, realistic, but a little bit specifically with a full day night cycle like you get in Sea of Thieves. Having a more realistic lighting base on that would make the world just pop even more. That would be my dream for that one, and just the capabilities, and this is why we're speaking about it really, the capabilities of Unreal Engine 5 over Unreal Engine 4 are vast, and mainly on the lighting and performance front. Pat, having seen the demo that obviously we put in the chat, the one that looked like Gears of War, the technical test yesterday, I think it was. Having watched that, what did you make of that, and what you've seen for Unreal Engine 5?
Well, I'm watching now because I see Unreal Engine 5 release state of Unreal.
Yeah.
It's on now on my screen. I'm watching it, and man, I don't know, man. I'm blown away. This is like literally like watching movies, like Disney films, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's, like back in the days, you were dreaming like this kind of game or gameplay or how it looked, and it's happening now. It's like literally, it's like a movie, and man. I'm blown away by how far they are, with the development of like games and how it looks, and it's. I've played the Matrix demo.
Yes.
That they had. Really, really cool. Really cool. I was like looking my eyeballs out, man. Seriously. The way it looked, it really was. It really was. It's now also on the screen. I see it right now. It's it's crazy what they do with the games these kind of days.
Yeah. 100%.
Like sometimes I have people here visiting me, and then I'm playing some game or stuff, and they're like, "What the heck? Is this a movie or something?"
Yeah.
Also, with like if you have different kind of cutscenes and that stuff, they think it's a movie. But I said no, it's games these kind of days. So yeah. And with the Unreal Engine 5, it's I'm curious about what we are gonna see and what we can play and stuff. So
100%.
yeah, it's really amazing.
100%. You know what it is that I'm looking forward to seeing as well is now the engine is now officially launched, which means specifically indie developers that haven't had a chance to play around with Unreal Engine 5, or even in the technical in its technical pre-release state, have now got access to it, and we've seen the capabilities of some indie developers, and we've seen even on the slideshow at the State of Unreal that some Chinese indie developers like Game Science, etc., and I do believe Game Science are the guys that are doing the Wuhan game, the one about with the monkey in it and things like that. That one that looked extremely
Black
technically
Myth
impressive.
Wukong.
That's the one. Black Myth. Wukong.
Black Myth, yeah.
They're using Unreal Engine 5 for their game.
Isn't that just like one developer?
Yeah, that's one guy, yeah.
It's crazy that one guy is making that.
Insane.
That blows my mind.
But seeing what indie developers are going to be able to do now as well, thanks to it's the terrain generation. So being able to build a world, and that's what really they're showcasing, is just saying, like, look at we've now got the ability to do these, what essentially the guys at Playground Games were doing for Forza Erwin, which was obviously the mega scans of terrain and everything like that, and putting that into the game, and seeing all these hyper detailed terrains. and then being able to do that in a much larger scale, in essentially like a drag and drop scenario in Unreal Engine 5, where you can build these huge, insane worlds that are hyper detailed and hyper realistic, in a matter of, should we say, hours, as opposed to a matter of weeks. For indie developers, they're going to realize some absolutely crazy looking games. Some absolutely and this is where it's going to draw the line on like what we think is AAA and what we think is indie will come down to the length of a game than anything else, or really the ambition of the designer over the amount of people working at the studio. Like I say, with just saying, if you have a look at Black Myth Wukong and just the detail that's going into that so far is just insane. But then, like I say, you compare that versus much larger AAA studios using Unreal Engine 5, and you wouldn't, in some cases, you wouldn't know the difference. You wouldn't think Black Myth was just one Chinese guy creating it at Game Science.
It's crazy.
And you
The level of
think,
detail in that game for one person.
yeah, it's just bonkers. But there's a lot, and you know what it is? It's the funny thing is there's a lot of people out there that are doing that. There's a lot of these one-man developers that are just like so passionate about what they're creating and how much hyper detail that goes into these games that the game releases and you just pay no attention to who it is that's behind it or what's being created or how much work that's went into it. And the level of detail is just insane, absolutely insane. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, is not just these AAA guys, but these indie developers. You're on mute, Mick.
That fixed that. Sorry about that. Yes, I was just saying. Then I've just got it on in the background. I noticed there's a CD Projekt Red bit.
Yes.
I didn't realise that they've actually shown very early sort of footage of a bit of the new Witcher.
Oh,
There's a bit.
They have?
There's actually a bit. Yeah, there's actually a bit there where it's like a. I can't hear it
What
obviously. So I don't know
minute?
what he's talking. On that show, it's coming in at about 30 minutes and 50 seconds ish.
is it them
And,
probably
yeah.
doing like a tester on what
Yeah,
they can
it's
produce?
obviously there's not actually like gameplay, but it's actually just shows like you can tell it's Witcher straight away by the buildings,
Yeah.
and then he's obviously moving through and he moves up to the board and it says wanted, wanted a hunter, or something. It looks very Witcher looking if it isn't Witcher.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. So that surprised me. I was just watching it thinking, whoa.
Yeah, yesterday,
I've not
Witcher
heard anything
4
about that.
CD Projekt Red discusses using Unreal Engine 5 tech overview.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'll have to listen to that later. That's good.
but it's I think
I
it's,
mean, and also, I haven't seen it. Obviously, I've not been watching. But as your favourite Dutch, Hellblade, have they been on this? Because they're using Unreal 5.
they haven't shown anything on that, but they are using Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, and we seen, of course, we seen their first trailer the other month, which was just insane. And that's, of course, that's not even. They're saying as well, that's just a glimpse. That's not even like the best of what's to come in that game. That's just
I can't wait to see that
a little
game.
bit of a show.
I'm excited to see Dutch when that game comes out.
Oh God, yeah.
That is your my Monkey Islands is for you that one. That's just like
Yeah, I've literally got that game on everything, and obviously I'm wearing my my midweek mix-up Hellblade t-shirt today, so yeah, I can't wait to see more of that, and I suspect we'll see in the showcase this year. We'll see that release date, and but you never know how close this to completion. It could be this year, it could be next year, it could be a surprise drop. I'm hoping it's this year. I hope a surprise drop a release for that this year. That would be insane.
I've got a feeling it's early next year, March.
Alright. You know what it is? As long as it's within the next year, I am happy. But that game looks absolutely insane. But I have full faith in that studio regardless. And I know the one thing that we can be rest assured of is, much like the Coalition, we know that Epic has been working hand in hand with Ninja Theory in order to get the most out of this engine. They've said this since it started developing on Unreal Engine 5. For Hellblade 2, they've said, we've been working with Epic and Unreal to really make the most of this engine and how we want to use this and how we can both progress. And much like the coalition, they are masters like at pushing what is capable and what they want to do. And some of the details we've seen in just that little teaser from the Hellblade guys was just insane. Like the level of detail and the fact that was actual gameplay as well, like actual gameplay. Yeah. And the guys were saying, no, like listen, like because we showed this off and we showed this exact gameplay segment off to the Xbox guys before we showed everybody else. Like we showed them it running as a game, as an actual playing, functioning game. This exact.
I can't believe people were trying to deny that that's actually gameplay.
Yeah, they had to come out and say, no, it is actual gameplay. Like several times. Like even Jeff Keighley was like, no, that is actual gameplay. That's gameplay. That's not a video. That's not a CGI. That's gameplay. It's just insane. And if that's what we've got, is it just an early generation game, and not late on in the gen where the best of these engines comes out to play, is phenomenal. Like if that's what we've got as an early generation taster of what this generation is going to bring, we've got some very exciting times to go.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Coalition are working on 2 projects, aren't they?
They are. They're working on a non-Gears project and a Gears project.
Yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait to see what Gears 6 looks like.
I can't wait to see what a non
Gears 5 was already like...
Yeah, Gears 5 was a visually stunning masterpiece, especially with that DLC that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hive Buster. Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it was. It was. And thanks to Muppet there, I'm going to put this comment on screen. The Hellblade 2 gameplay gave me a twitch in my winky. Oh, dear me. Yeah, nice. So yeah, I believe that
by the way,
at the Get CD project on board, and I believe they got him. Yeah, I think it was. You're right. I think potentially Hellblade the CD Projekt guys probably looked at Hellblade and went, "Holy shit, that is if that's what you can do on Unreal, give me some of that." Yeah.
Just wanted to do a quick shout out. Shout out to Perepluk because he had made his goal for 200 followers on Twitch. Perepluk is one of the Twitch midweek mix-up collective streamers. Big shout out to you, Mew. You're doing a great job, man, and especially on the Sea of Thieves streams.
Yes.
So yeah, man, big shout out to you, Perepluk.
Congrats, man.
Yes. Our family continues to grow and be successful, and that Sea of Thieves family is obviously getting well behind Perepluk. So he's growing rapidly on that now. So he's obviously going to now transition from a normal streamer into a Sea of Thieves streamer permanently. So
partner.
Nothing wrong with that.
TFT partner.
But yeah, and obviously, yeah, I'm sure, no doubt, Mick's going to be joining them for plenty of gameplay on that. But you obviously, you know what it is. I was thinking the other day as well. I really want to actually get into Sea of Thieves and set aside one day a week to play Sea of Thieves properly. Because I'd love to. The problem is I don't have a full crew that gets on once a week and does the quests and does the stories and does all the different things that comes along with it. And there's a lot that gets along with Sea of Thieves, and I love the game. I just don't set enough time aside to play it. That's my problem.
You know, you're welcome to join us anytime.
I feel like I'd be a spare cog.
Nah.
part of me wants to get
I'm
into
just a
it.
musician on board. I'm just like, yeah, you guys go. I'll be the cheerleader. I'll just play the hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah, part of me wants to get into it, but I always end up just titting about. So.
So do I.
Especially when I'm with Marion or Stowe, it just always goes wrong.
I really loved when I was playing through the Pirate's Life story. I loved playing through that, and I loved going through and fixing the puzzles and things like that. Was with you as well, wasn't it, Mick?
Yep.
I loved doing that. I love the stories, and you know what it is? I really love the fact that they've got these side story things in that you can go and do. And aside from that, I haven't done any of the other ones. aside from the Pirate's Life one, and even then the Pirate's Life one I still haven't finished. I've still got like one mission to go or something.
We're gonna do that then soon.
Yeah, definitely. So I really wanted to get into that, but back on Unreal Engine, another thing that was announced, and obviously it was much anticipated for a big franchise, but Crystal Dynamics, of course, announced that the new Tomb Raider is in development and on Unreal Engine 5.
Cool.
So that's awesome.
Ooh.
One of the teasers they put on their Facebook page, believe it or not, was, because this is a reboot of the franchise by the looks of things, one of the pictures that we've seen on, and I've seen this shared elsewhere, but one of the kind of header that they used for Tomb Raider on their page after the Unreal thing was Lara Croft and then a dinosaur.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which would say that is a reboot of the original Tomb Raider. That would be awesome. Now,
Would be awesome. I prefer the newer ones, though. I have to admit.
Newer, more realistic
Yeah.
stories.
A bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But saying that though, I think Crystal Dynamic personally has done an awesome job of the previous trilogy. I think graphically it was tremendous. Gameplay wise, it was brilliant. Story wise, it was decent. I think they've done a really good job of the previous Tomb Raiders that they have created. And seeing the level of fidelity that is going to be capable on the new Tomb Raider, I think is going to really make that game pop. How many people here have played the Tomb Raiders? Who's excited for a new Tomb Raider?
I played the first and the second one. I've not played the
You
third
haven't
one
played
yet.
Shadow yet.
Played
Yeah.
all of them.
Shadow's
Played all of
brilliant.
them and played the Shadow one again just for points on the PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play quite some Tomb Raider games, so
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
Have you played Shadow of the
Great
Tomb Raider,
Avenger
the more
games.
recent one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. Yep.
I even like the Shadow, the Underworld. You know, the Tomb Raider Underworld on the 360.
Oh god, yeah, that was yeah.
That was a good one. And the DLC for it as well was really good.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm just really looking. You know what it is? I'm just really looking forward to seeing more of it. Seeing where they take it now. Where they take the franchise, whether or not it goes back to the as So Shady's putting it there, back to the fantastical roots with the dinosaurs and whatnot. It would be very interesting to see where they take Tomb Raider again, or where they take it back to.
The guy from who was the director on Days Gone, he's working with Crystal Dynamics now as a design director. So
Oh, nice.
could be that he's working on Tomb Raider.
Yes, yeah. It could very well be. Could very well be. Let's have a look here. We do have a question in though, so this is from Big Mad Mo. So since they announced this, do you think they're staying with Square, or could they still be bought? I think very much, you know what it is, it's not down to Crystal Dynamics, it's whether or not Square Enix want to get rid of them. And I still firmly believe that Square want to get rid of their Western studios. So
They don't even care about their Western
Yeah.
studios, so they might as well just get rid of them.
I think regardless of what happens with Tomb Raider, I don't think that has got anything to do with Crystal. I think if Square don't want anything to do with them anymore, and they really do put their Western studios down at every given opportunity and say that they're failing, even though the rest of like Japanese and Asian studios literally perform exactly the same as the Western studios in terms of sales. They just like to publicly lambast the Western divisions. So yeah, personally, I think it's very much still open game for Crystal Dynamics, and I think, to be honest, if I was Crystal, I'd be wanting to get under a publishing arm that's actually going to give you more credit for what you do, and not put you down publicly every 2 minutes and say that your work's terrible and you haven't performed well enough and X, Y, and Z. When ultimately the decisions to include a lot of the stuff was actually above your head and down to Square Enix in the first place, such as microtransactions, such as live service.
Yep.
So
They did. Was it People Can Fly? They did them a bit dirty as well, didn't they?
yeah, exactly. Any Western studio, they just they publicly lambast and put them down. So yes, personally, I think they are. I would imagine most people would agree with that. Still, regardless of what Tomb Raider has been announced, they think probably open game on Crystal Dynamics. Still, would you agree, Mick? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so excited for anything from Crystal Dynamics after playing the Tomb Raiders. So that was good news when they announced that for me.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah. It can't be a bad thing.
No.
And the sooner Microsoft just hurry up and buy that company, get them off Square Enix's hands, the better.
Yeah.
In fact, all of their Western, because I like Avalanche as well, you know, and the Just Cause games, and IO as well. Just get them off Square Enix.
I fully expect Crystal Dynamics to abandon Marvel's Avengers now too. Just let that game die. Just let it die.
Haven't they just announced some more like things coming to that game? Some new heroes, and there's going to be at least another 2 or 3 heroes before they do Captain Marvel.
Oh.
So,
I have no idea, but I have
they've still
zero
got a while
interest
to
in
go
that
with
game,
that
yeah.
one. They've still got a
have
while
zero
to go, I
interest.
think. So,
Just put it in the bin.
yeah.
Just create another
Done with
Guardians of the Galaxy will be fine.
Move back to Tomb Raider and then
Yeah. Tomb Raider.
Get away from
Perfect
that.
Dark.
disaster that Square Enix forced them to do
Yeah.
with their terrible microtransactions. Yeah, move on from that now. just let
Yeah,
Marvel's Avengers die.
Yeah.
Bury it at least 7 foot deep, maybe even 8. Actually, hell, go 12 foot deep. Just bury it, and then we'll all forget about it.
Burial at sea.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just launch it into the sun and be done with it.
Put it on me
It's-
sloop and drop it off the back.
But yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's, you know, all in all, though, for me, just seeing the capabilities of Unreal Engine 5, what it's going to do for both indie developers and AAA developers alike. I think this generation itself, and I've said this a couple of times now, and I think thanks to the pandemic, it's going to be stretching out the generation a little bit further than it was originally intended. We probably would have had a lot of things a lot earlier than we would have had. The generation would have went a little bit more smooth had the pandemic not been around. It would have been a little bit further on already in the generation. I think thanks to the hold-ups and the delays and things like that, the generation's probably been put back by about a year or two. So I think specifically now the announcement that Unreal Engine 5 is officially out and in active use by more than 50 studios, large studios as well as indie developers, and now everybody else has got access to it. I think the remainder of this generation is going to be extremely really great to look forward to. I also think, personally, it's kind of a round-off comment for me on the Unreal update. I see this generation probably lasting till 20. It could be till as late as 2028. This generation now, an additional 6 years from now. We've had about a year and a half already of this generation, a full year and a half, going into 2 years now. But nothing's really kicked off. We've still got hardware issues that are going to last until next year. Xbox seem to have kind of gotten on top of their hardware production issues now. It starts to see more and more availability of Series X consoles. We're seeing only last week and coming into this week, it was on Microsoft Store, Amazon, in stores, all the different store shops. We're getting Series X's, Series S's in, and frequently available pretty much everywhere. So they seem to starting to get on top of it a little bit more now. And we've seen that, of course, when we hate speaking about sales figures, but in the UK sales for the last week, the Xbox was the top selling within the UK. Nintendo Switch was second best selling, and the PlayStation 5, of course, third. but we know PlayStation have still yet to get on top of their production issues for the PlayStation 5 and getting that out into the public at a steady rate, enough to what you would class as being able to find it on a regular basis. So yeah, it's the generation's I think it's gonna be extended. I don't think that's actually a bad thing.
I think it'll probably last around about the length of the 360 generation. That was one of the longest generations we've had.
Yeah,
I think it depends on how big of an impact the RDNA 2 stuff they keep saying is coming, and looks like it's gonna be that good. If it is as good as they say, I think it'll easily last that long.
Yeah.
But if it isn't, if it's not quite what they're saying, and it doesn't live up to the hype, then maybe it won't be quite so long. Maybe about the same as last generation. But I do think that stuff looks good and looks promising. And if so, yeah, it should last. We shouldn't have any problems.
Yeah. I think it
can't say the same for PlayStation, though.
Yeah.
PlayStation 6 next year.
Yeah, well, I keep seeing things on Twitter, like all these, like there was one before I was reading about, like 40. The guy fixed a load of PS5s, and then he got 43 more, and he's had to hire more staff.
Damn.
Yeah, because of the liquid metal thing just overheating. And
yeah, I've seen more and more of that. I think more from a game design perspective. I think, as you mentioned, Mick, with the RDNA 2 features, more along with AMD's FSR, and obviously now the inclusion of VRR, and the more people that get access to FreeSync, G-Sync, and VRR screens throughout the course of the generation, which is going to be more and more, because a lot of screens now, specifically monitors of any kind, you don't even have to get a full spec gaming monitor now. You can get any monitor that's capable of 75 Hz or 60 Hz, and that comes with FreeSync now. That works with console, which is VRR. It's obviously a variable refresh rate, and you can get that on TVs. Of course, that's much higher spec. A TV costs 1,000 upwards, etc. Usually. But even now, you can get pretty much anything there. A cheap monitor for like 200 quid with FreeSync on now. That does the same job. And you're going to get some of them awesome things that are going to wipe it out. If you bring in FSR, obviously the VRR that's now across the scale. You bring in Unreal Engine 5, which is backwards compatible to the previous gen. Brings in the Lumen engine, which obviously helps with a fake version of a realistic ray traced lighting scenario. On top of the fact that, of course, the next generation consoles will have access to things like ray traced audio, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, 3D audio, and all the new tech and all the fancy tech that you've got coming into this generation compared to what you had in the last generation. Really making more use out of less than we've ever had before. Specifically the likes of Unreal Engine 5 and FSR combined, I think, are going to be able to, specifically, like I've mentioned before, the lower powered stuff, like your Series S console, is going to be the one that sees the benefit of FSR and Unreal Engine 5 the most. You're going to see that in that console really starting to come out of its shell. We don't, of course, it's never going to be a 4K console. It was never built for that. But I think you'll see it hitting 1080p the vast majority of the time, and even going forward, see FSR's capabilities have that 1080p up to 2K, and have it as a 2K 60 machine. I think personally that's where this machine's going to end this generation. I think it's going to be a 2K machine, 2K 60, no problem with FSR included. It's going to be a 1080p image, just up-res using FSR, which is going to essentially free up a lot of the bottleneck, free up the performance capabilities, and that's going to be such a powerhouse for its cost. Such an awesome thing. Does anybody else get anything to finish off with Unreal Engine 5 before we wrap this show up?
Nope. Apart from it just can't come quick enough.
Yeah. You're right.
I can't wait to see what games are going to get made with it.
Yeah, see what comes out the back of it.
Yeah.
I think personally the first
Matrix.
one we will see, the first one we're going to see using Unreal Engine 5, I think, is Hellblade. That looks like to be the case.
Okay.
It's been in development quite a while, and we've seen gameplay footage of it in Unreal Engine 5. I think that's the game that's closest. If we have a look at the ones that are in development, for instance, Tomb Raider, it's just announced. Gears, but it isn't even a thing yet. That was a tech test. That's not even development. Arc 2 is in Unreal Engine 5. That could be this year, next year. I'm not sure when. I'm sure it was meant to be this year.
Coalition's other project they're working on, also will likely be in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah. So a lot of the project on Unreal are like next year, year after for Unreal Engine 5. Specifically the ones that have essentially partnered with Epic to create them. So the ones that have partnered with Epic are the ones that you're seeing on screen. The vast majority of other studios that are working on long-term projects are the ones that you'll see in 24 and beyond. So yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what comes out and how it looks. It's such an
It's going to be an exciting generation, I'll tell you that.
It is, most definitely. But massive shout out to everybody that's joined us this evening. Of course, shout out to BitCloud, who's obviously not here now. And the rest of the panel. We're going to do our awesome outros now.
Chat, don't forget to leave a like.
Yes, leave a like.
Those thumbs up.
Thank you. I always forget this. Like,
share, and subscribe.
Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so terrible at doing this. You know what it is? We've got merchandise as well, and I never ever talk about that.
Don't forget the sponsor.
Yeah.
Is it up there? Am I?
Manscaped.
Am I pointing in the right direction?
Merchandise. Look at that.
Get the merch.
Merch.
Come on.
Awesome merch. Yes, we have merchandise right here. We've got the game shields. I'm going to do some PlayStation ones as well, but this is Xbox game shields. I've got Sea of Thieves, Hellblade, Forza, Gears, Skyrim, Doom, whatever you want. Some of the most prolific
There's
games
one thing
there.
you don't have.
What?
One thing you don't have.
What?
Time out.
Hats.
Hat. Oh, I know. You know how picky they are with the hats? You know, it's so difficult to get a hat made.
We need a timeout. We need a timeout Vin t-shirt.
That's what we need. I'll create a timeout t-shirt.
Yeah. Got the Manscaped over here, and then you got the Indie Showcase over there, which I can't wait for. That's going to be amazing.
Yes. So of course, if for those who are pining for showcases, of course we are putting together, and I have now finished the large section of the show, so it's all good to go essentially from the vast majority of the perspective. The actual time and from start to finish of the show is probably going to be, if you exclude the starting soon, etc., the run time from start to finish is probably going to be about 2 hours and 45 minutes long. About 25 minutes of that is the creators introducing their stuff. It's obviously not all at the same time. They're all little bits of here and there. So you've got a good 2 hours, roughly about 2 hours and 20 minutes of solid games from start to finish. There's about 104 games being shown. So yes, it's a lot
of games.
And that is, you know what it is, and the funny thing is that's not including the times where, because obviously as you can probably expect, a lot of the creators have chosen overlapping games, so someone's chosen one and the other person's also chosen one. So what I've managed to do through a lot of digging, a lot of asking, a lot of looking around, is finding a trailer for one, and in some cases, unseen gameplay footage for the other. So even though the game is shown twice, it isn't the same thing twice. So you might see a teaser and a normal trailer on one of the guys, but then further down the line, further into the show, you'll see actual gameplay of that game that is not necessarily out yet. So yes, it's 12 creators, including myself. 2 hours 45 minutes ish in length. Over 100 games, giveaways, special appearances from that haven't been advertised. Of course, if anybody's seen it on Twitter, you'll have seen the question marks over the person, the person in question, and yes, it is going to be epic. It is going to be epic. I'm waiting for a couple of final things before I wrap it up and start polishing it, and then I'm going to have to do a full run through myself to see what else I want to add to it before it goes through, and of course all you fine people see it. It's going to be a little bit interactive, so it will be streamed live, even though it's the entirety of it's pre-recorded. But what I'm going to do as well is essentially have this awesome application that I've got open here that allows me to put your best comments on screen throughout the course of the show. So when everybody's watching it, it's going to be a little bit more interactive. People are going to be able to have their comments shown on there if anybody wants to say what they're looking forward to, what they're excited for, etc. throughout the showcase. That's going to be able to be showcased on screen at the same time as well. So there's going to be a lot of interactivity around it. Of course, we're going to do some awesome giveaways for some awesome indie games as well. So if you haven't already, General C's kindly put the link into the trailer there. Of course, there is also a reminder now on the channel for the showcase. That's on the 23rd. I will not stay for more than 2 hours and 44 minutes. I refuse. Well, you never know, because I potentially will be doing a one more thing moment at the end of that. So yeah, I kind of might have to force your
Columbo on us.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a Phil Spencer on you at the end. Just one more thing. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Of course, this is all set with the community, for the community. Get everybody involved, have an awesome time, and obviously just have some fun. But let's get everybody out of here.
Heck yeah.
First and foremost, General C. Let people know, of course, brother, what you've got coming up this week, and where they can find you.
Well, this week I don't have any videos. I've decided I'm going to take a break because I'm struggling to get ahead of myself. I have 2 parcel plays wrote, so this week I'll only be on the weekend show with you.
Yeah.
And next week there'll be the Half-Life 2 parcel play episode, and then the week after that is the Shredders episode. So, and I have some stuff to say about Shredders. But I'm not going to mention it here because I don't want to give that away. I have a lot of stuff to say about that game.
Yes.
And that's as much as I'll say on that.
If you've played it, you could probably guess.
You can find me on my YouTube channel, the General C, and on Twitter, the _General_C.
Yes, indeed. And of course, as you mentioned, right here on Sunday again for the weekend edition of the Midweek Mix-Up podcast. Myself and Jen just run through and mop up all the week's news. And, of course, we missed last week, but we won't miss this week. Wrap up our thoughts on the Halo series as well as it comes through. We still have to talk about episode 2, and as of tomorrow, we'll be having to wrap up episode 3. So,
I do have a few things to say about episode 2.
Yep.
But I'll save that for Sunday.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Xbox Mick, of course, brother, you've been doing some awesome streams recently with, of course, Sightless Combat and the rest of your crew on Sea of Thieves and Gears and other things, but mainly Sea of Thieves. Let people know where they can find you when you're next streaming.
Yeah, so I'm not a bit light on the videos recently. There's not been much out, to unbox, so a bit light on that. So I've been doing a lot more streaming, doing some Sea of Thieves on my own. I've been doing a bit of Sea of Thieves with our resident Sea of Thieves person, Perrin Pluk, as well.
Yes.
So that's been good, and I've also been streaming a bit of the new Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga as well. So yeah, it's all good.
Awesome stuff. And last but not least, Patcher, with his new microphone gracing us with that crispy audio this week.
Yeah, man. Nice.
Where can people find
Good
you?
that
What are you going to be up to? I know you've said your streams have felt and sounded a lot better since you've managed to get that upgrade. So where can people hear more of that crispy audio?
Or you guys can find me, of course, on Twitch, and then my name, what it says here, _ MWMU, midweek mix-up. Didn't do a lot of streaming last week because I was sick, but we're gonna pick it up and we're gonna see what we're gonna play. Since last week, a little bit stuck on Forza Erwin 5, so probably we'll be streaming that. But of course, I'm always in for another game. Plug also to you. I need to download Sea of Thieves, man. You invited me so much time now to Sea of Thieves. Yeah, I need to get back in that game as well with you. So make sure you're available soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, like trying some new games as well. So we'll see how it goes on stream.
Nice. And of course, you can find me everywhere at WandrinDutch. Of course, over at Twitch, even though I don't use it. We do host all of these fine gentlemen when they're streaming. So you can, if you want to locate them much easier without searching them individually, the Midweek Mix-Up Collective on Twitch. And every time any of these guys goes live, we do host them. So keep an eye on that channel. When they are live, we are live, essentially. And we will be hosting all of them channels, so you can find them and then go and follow them all individually and watch them stream. Otherwise, you can find us right here, of course, every Wednesday and every Sunday for the Midweek Mix-Up, both the Midweek Mix-Up main podcast and the Weekend Edition. And of course, right here as well for any gameplay, whether that be Fork Knife, whether that be Sea of Thieves, whether that be Elden Ring, or anything in between with the community. Right here. And of course, in 2 weeks' time, we have the Community Indie Showcase.
Don't forget to look after your balls.
Yes, look after your balls, please. With code. With the 20% off. The code Midweek Mix-Up. And I'll let's just put that code on screen. There we go. Lovely little code on the bottom there. There we go.
Nice.
So thank you again once more, everybody that joined us this evening. And for those of us catching on demand, of course, make sure to drop a like, share this out, and subscribe if you don't already. Hope you enjoyed today's show. And of course, with the Indie Showcase in your minds, please enjoy this trailer as we see you all out. Enjoy and good evening.
See you guys.
Take care, guys.